social media platforms. PSP Network, it's game day.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, your trusted partner for commercial and business loans. We not only provide lending you need to grow your business, but we also reinvest in our communities. We believe in strengthening our businesses and creating opportunities for success. Choose Dakota Community Bank and Trust for your commercial and business loans, and together let's keep our communities thriving.
Serving the community, looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
When facing disaster, it's not just the things we lose, but the memories. But there's hope. ServPro, with decades of experience in Minot and Bismarck, is always ready. Our certified professionals don't just restore homes, they rebuild lives. Because to us, you're not just a client, you're family.
Since 2003, the architects and engineers at Ackerman Esvold have been enhancing everyday life. From response times to commute times, we've helped create critical infrastructure, enhancing highway safety, flood protection, and public education. And we're no stranger to enhancing fun, family outings, and even game time. Ackerman Esvold, working to enhance your everyday life.
Great news! If you're looking for a new vehicle, Ryan Family Dealerships has the best selection we've had in years. You'll find fantastic offers from Nissan, Honda, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Cadillac, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram.
Hold on! Ryan sells Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram?
Yes, we do, and we'd love to sell one to you. Visit one of our 5 convenient locations in Minot and Williston. Get your next vehicle from a name you know and trust. Ryan Family Dealerships.
That sinking feeling you get when this happens? That's oil change-anxiety. The anxiety of being without a car with a billion things to do. The fear of being overcharged. The stress of not knowing where to go or who to trust. But you never get those feelings at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, where you can watch us work right from your car, and we finish up in about 15 minutes.
We changed your oil and did our 18-point safety check.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
Welcome in here to the Queen City, here in Dickinson at the West River Ice Center. I'm Brock Widener, joined alongside me, Austin Rotz, as we've got a fun one. But before we dive into it, we welcome you into the Valvoline Instant Oil Change pre-game show here on the PSP Network. It's your locally owned oil change headquarters. 25 years, Lundine's taking care of people. Local actually matters. Not to mention, this oil change is stay in your car, drive-through oil change, typically performed in 15 minutes or less. You can find them in the Magic City of Minot and the capital city of Bismarck. It's Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Well, Austin, 15 minutes or less, these guys will be going back into the locker rooms, get the Zamboni crew on, as the JV game put on quite the show. Went to a shootout where I believe Legacy came back from down 4-0 to win it in a shootout on the JV side. But the varsity one, we're hoping, brings just as much excitement here to the West River Ice Center.
Yeah, the stadium here everyone was really excited to watch that JV game. It was a lot of energy in the stadium to get the crowd ready for the varsity game. And can't wait to see what this next hour and a half is going to entail for us.
It is going to be one that, from this point on, every time you're in a WDA game, standings, every point matters. And we're going to get into that here in a little bit, but these two teams right now find themselves maybe on opposite sides of that pack right now. Legacy sitting right now second, eight wins, 2 losses, 2 overtime wins for that grand total of a 10-win, 2-loss season when you cut it that way. But this is a team that is high-powered, high-explosive, high-energy. That first line, we're going to talk about them probably quite a bit here in the Valvoline Instant Oil Change pregame show. They are exciting. But then you look in at that second line, they're just as capable too, and that has provided a Legacy to be the top scoring team inside the West region. Then for Dickinson, they find themselves right now sitting in 8th in the WDA standings with a record of 5 wins in regulation, 6 regulation losses, and 1 overtime loss as well. They're 2-6-0-1 in WDA play. And this is a team that has found they've got a couple guys in their equation in the net. So net minding is definitely in their forte, and for them, it's going to be about defense and trying to get those guys to take some shots off their goalies' hands. We've seen that throughout the season. I really look at that Mandan game to start the year here at the West River Ice Center, where Mandan probably had 100 shots, 43 of them were on goal, but Dickinson was very much in that game to the end, and that's kind of the performance that Dickinson needs tonight if they want to play upset.
Yeah, definitely. I can say for the coaches staff as well, I played under Miller. He's a hard-nosed hockey coach, and he's going to want his players to come out fast and hard. You want to get on the scoreboard early in this competition.
And that's going to be one of those things. With Dickinson, this is a team that's built on grit. They're built on that type of style, that hard-nosed style of play. And if you can play with that, if you can get an early goal playing that style and just feed into your physical play and try to make it that way into that third where it's a 1-goal game, or you're in the lead heading into the third, that's a good sign, as that's where kind of the Mavericks want to play. For the Mavericks, you do not want to find your way too big of a deficit when you're entering that third period. But let's take a look on over as we continue on to the Valvoline Instant Oil Change pregame show. And we mentioned these WDA standings, so let's start there before we kind of dive in more into the nitty-gritty of this. And we'll start off at the top, Minot United. They're perfect 9-0 in WDA play. And then Legacy finds themselves in at number 2 with 23 points in the conference side of things. Then it's Mandan and Jamestown and Century, all separated within 3 points. So in one game, Century can go from 5th to 3rd. Mandan can go 3rd to 5th. A lot of moving and shaking can be right there in the middle. 4, 5, 6 with those, or 3, 4, 5 with those teams. Bismarck right around that hunt with 13 conference points. Williston and Dickinson at 7 and 8. And then Botno, Rugby, and Hazen, Beulah. So I think there's fun races to really kind of zero in on, and as the end of the season nears, I think that they're going to really start tightening up. But as you mentioned, 3, 4, 5, and then you even got that kind of 6, 7, 8, and 9 kind of fun race to keep an eye on as well, trying to get out of the play-in game. But tonight, lots of great action. Jamestown taking on Bismarck, Mandan versus Century, Minot versus Williston, and of course here Legacy versus Dickinson. Little notes on the WDA side of things. Legacy's got the best scoring team, averaging 6 goals per game in the WDA. That is first. Minot United is 2 goals behind them, yet they're second. So that maybe shows you a little something. Legacy averaging 6 goals a game. Minot United around 4.5. But that's your top 2 scoring teams. Goaltending-wise, Legacy ranks up around 5th. And the top team there is Minot United, only allowing about 1.5 goals per game. Dickinson, 9th in scoring. Again, the WDA, in their WDA matchups, 6th in goals allowed, and then 8th in that goals differential. I always like to see what teams statistically are maybe playing better than where they're lined up in the standing at the halfway point. And the statistics show Botno Rugby is that team that can maybe watch to try to push up the standings 5th scoring, 7th in goals allowed, 6th in goals differential, and they've played in 7 one-goal losses. Kind of heartbreaking there. In their 10 losses, 7 of them they lost by 1 goal. The other 2 they lost in 2, and then one other one they lost in 3. For EDC, they've played in a few less conference games, but it's Grand Forks, Red River, West Fargo, Cheyenne, and Grand Forks Central, all there within a point of each other in the top 3. Grand Forks Central has played, I think, a game or 2 less, but they're undefeated in the EDC play despite being 3rd in the standings, just sample size there. Fargo North, Devils Lake there at 4-5. The analytics and stats show that the team at 6 may be playing a little bit better than their 6th place, and that is Fargo Davies. And then Shanley, West Fargo, Grafton Park River, and Mayport area are the other teams in the EDC. EDC action tonight, West Fargo Cheyenne versus West Fargo. That should be a pretty fun one, but the one that all eyes are going to be on, Grand Forks Central, Grand Forks Red River. I believe that is a championship rematch from state last year, and I think it's maybe the championship that everyone kind of sees year in and year out. Maybe you get another team that kind of joins the mix, but one of those teams usually makes a state championship.
Yeah, that should be a great matchup. I imagine that'll be pretty rowdy at that game, so make sure to keep an eye on the scores tonight for you folks.
And then Davies versus Shanley and Devils Lake versus Fargo North. So those are the matchups in the EDC and the WDA tonight. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to start diving in to Legacy Dickinson. We'll start talking about players to watch and much, much more when we return on the Valvoline Instant Oil Change pre-game show.
We started with small beginnings. And just like the visionary entrepreneurs we serve, we turned an idea into reality. Today, we give you the power to grow your ideas by building meaningful relationships in the communities we serve. Because it's the same place we started. BNC National Bank, where possibilities begin right here at home.
One thing that I've always enjoyed about being a physician is just the patient and physician relationship.
Part of why I trusted him is because I felt more than just a patient.
We figured out the best situation for my injury, and we chose the one that would best fit me.
I'm a huge sports fan, have been my whole life and still am today. I have a strong desire to help people maintain their activity levels and to get back to doing the things that they are passionate about.
At Badlands Pet Crematory, we understand that pets are family. Unlike other crematories in the area, we are the only dedicated pet crematory that offers private individual cremation. One pet at a time, 100% guaranteed. From start to finish, we personally handle your pet with the utmost care, ensuring that you receive only your pet in return. Choose Badlands Pet Crematory, because saying goodbye should come with certainty and trust.
Being in business for over 25 years, we've learned a lot about why local matters. Unlike those guys, we take pride in our work and back our tires with our Plus Plan guarantee to get the most out of your tire's lifespan.
Are the tires the same size on all the sides?
We strive to provide great value to our guests and lowest prices guaranteed.
That's not good.
Stop at a trusted tire and auto and get a set of tires from people you know and trust, and will even match those guys.
Our initial reaction when we realized he had 2 broken bones was fear. Then once we realized and got a plan with Trinity and our doctor, a lot of comfort.
He told me that he can fix my arm, and he showed me a lot of stuff that he could do to help me.
Trinity Health Orthopedics is as good as you can find anywhere in the country. A lot of us take pride in that, and that's why we stay here and we keep doing what we do.
Trinity Health, making more possible.
Breathe in. I can't believe I wrecked my car.
There are some things in life we can't control, but what's important is how we respond. At Jerome's Collision Center, they provide the highest quality of service, assuring the job gets done stress-free and making it feel like a breath of fresh air. And to give you peace of mind, they handle the insurance.
Are you even a therapist?
Don't worry about it. Jerome's, they're the experts. Jerome's.
Spas Etc. is excited to introduce the addition of the Master Spas line, including the Michael Phelps Swim Spas. Enjoy the relaxing health benefits and enjoy 0% financing up to 72 months or up to $5,000 off on all spas and swim spas. You'll also find $2,000 off the MSRP on all pools and saunas. Come check out the outstanding lineup of Master Spas at Spas Etc.
Legacy picked up the JV win earlier tonight, and now they look in at trying to continue their winning ways this season as they are coming off of an impressive winning streak right now that has amounted to 8 games, an 8-game winning streak for these Legacy Sabres. Again, this is a team that started off with 2 straight wins against Bismarck High and against West Fargo, and early on in the season, after that Bismarck High game, I talked to that coaching staff of Bismarck Legacy, and they just talked about, hey, that was a game that was closer than it should have been. It was one of those things where they had that Legacy kind of had an off period, and they started kind of fixing that, and throughout they've kind of had maybe an off period here or there against Minot United, or they lost 2-4 in a close one, just a very competitive first period, but that second period just went Minot's way and kind of determined the game, and so for Legacy, this is just trying to be putting in those 3 periods all together, trying to play a complete game. And when they do, this team is almost untouchable. I mean, you look at the goals they have scored. I mean, there's a good reason why they're averaging 6 goals a game. They have totaled 6 goals here. It looks like 4 different times. They've scored 7 goals in a game once, and they're coming off of a game where they scored 10 goals against Hazen Beulah just last week. So again, scoring has come pretty easy here for Legacy, but again, for them, it's all about playing that complete game. Here and thus far in January, though, they have picked up right where they left off, a 6-1 win against Bismarck, a 10-1 win against Hazen. So in the month of January, outscoring their opponents 16-2, Austin.
Yeah, the analytics also tell us that Legacy is great in the first and second. They're pretty good in the third. I'll give them that. But for a team like Legacy, they come out hard and they come out fast and they know how to score.
Yeah, they certainly do. And as you talk about there in the analytics, I mean, they show. I mean, this is a team that scores more in the first period, then they score a little less in the second, or maybe even a little less in that third. But this is a team that likes to come out and they like to play their style. They like to play fast. They like to have that first line kind of run around, and maybe when we're talking about that and looking at the differences, maybe the third period may just get a little bit tired trying to run those 2 lines in the first 2 periods a lot. They try to kind of go in those 2 and then occasionally see that third line in. Maybe down the stretch of the season, maybe you'll see it more third and fourth line getting some more chances to get a little bit more rest for those top 2 playmaking lines.
Yeah, if you're Legacy, or if I'm the head coach of Legacy, I want to try to mix in those third and fourth liners early on in the game, play them a little bit in the second, make sure that your first and second lines are staying fresh so you can take kind of advantage of that third period.
Yeah, we've seen recently here in the last couple of games that their coaching staff is starting to bring some guys up from JV, and we've seen some different fourth liners from them. Andrew Patton came in. He's not on the roster tonight, but he's played a couple of games for them, the last couple of games on that fourth line. And new addition for tonight, jumping up from JV to varsity, is Eli Chafee, a junior, playing in his first varsity game of the season. So again, like you kind of mentioned, just trying to find those third and fourth lines, trying to see what they want moving forward. So this is a team, again, this is a team that's averaging 6 goals a game, giving up around 3 1/3 goals a game on that end. This is a 26% power play, 77% penalty kill for those 2. So again, this is a team, especially on that power play unit, you do not want to give them power plays if you're Dickinson. They have a lot of talent, and you're given that top line that we'll talk about a lot of Garley, Presley, McKay, and Johnson. You're giving them one less defender on them, and that's just going to open up the seas, if you will, for a very impressive trio. Now let's look at Dickinson and maybe look at the crunch of the numbers. Again, 5-6-0-1 overall. Again, that 5-7. But this is a team that has played a very gritty season so far, and a team that you see there's kind of improvement from last year. Last year they ended with 6 wins. They've already got 5 with plenty of games to go. And this is a team that is showing that, hey, they're here to play. Last year they ended with 2 wins inside the WDA. They've already got 2 wins and an overtime loss. Already more points conference-wise than they did last season. But just trying to find kind of how to stay in it. This is a team that if they can stay in close in the third, they have a chance. And that is what their goalies have been doing in the duos of Roars and Olsen. They've been outstanding this season for the Mavericks.
Yeah, I think Dickinson, you're going to want to rely on your seniors for tonight. I think they have 5 seniors on their roster. So you're going to want to make sure that those guys in the locker room are, kind of communicating with their teammates, making sure that you're getting the boys fired up and ending the season well, I guess. We're kind of getting to that point where you're matching yourself up for what's going to come in the end of February, early March, and stacking yourself up, getting yourself in a good position for WDA. So this is a game that really matters for Dickinson coming off a winter break.
Yeah, and this is one of these games for Dickinson is you're trying to steal some points. I mean,
exactly.
When you're in that kind of in a race, obviously you want to beat those teams that you're racing in that kind of mix with. They're trying to better. So in this case, a Hazen, a Bismarck High, a Botno Rugby, kind of in that mix, Williston. So anytime you play those teams, those are the ones you really care for, but you also want to know, hey, if we can steal one from someone else in that top half, it could be a little bit interesting situation when we get to the end. I mean, you look at what Botno Rugby did to start the year, to start this, I guess the 2026 part of the campaign, is they beat Mandan. And Mandan is sitting 3rd in the standings. Botno Rugby sitting 9th. I mean, could that game play some major implications down the stretch? It might. It could affect some type of situation. So this is what Dickinson's hoping for, to try to make one of those games and try to maybe get steal a point or 2, especially if trying to maybe reel back in Williston. And when you play Williston again a second time through, maybe that's one of those ones where you beat Williston, you lost to them in overtime, you end up kind of taking the points battle in there. But should be interesting to see how this all plays out. But for the new year, January 2nd, they lost to Mandan 0-5. Then they lost to Bismarck 2-4 in a game that was pretty close shot-wise, 26-36, and then played Hazen in just quite a slobber knocker of a matchup any way you cut it. They won 4-3, but they were outshot by the North Stars 35-37. They also gave up 3 North Star power play goals in that mix. But the big thing is what maybe Chad Miller is probably pleased with and taking away points is we were trailing 3-1 in that game. I mean, this was a come-behind victory for the Mavericks and exactly what the Mavericks want to see, because I know we sit here and talk about what this is a Mavericks team that's kind of built of trying to maybe score that early goal or kind of be tied going into the third. I mean, hey, this is a team that can come back if need be, and they showed it there against Hazen.
Yeah, when this team, I was talking to one of the parents over the weekend, and they said when this team plays together, they play really well. They got the talent to do it, but there's times where they're just not clicking as a team, not working together. And for a game like tonight, you're going to want to make sure that everyone's on the same page. You're coming off of a win against Hazen, as you said. So this is a perfect night to steal a point from Legacy, put yourself in that position early on in the game, and win a hockey game.
Yeah, they are 4-3 in their last 7. So that's, again, solid signs here for Dickinson. They had a good holiday break there as they took on Aberdeen and Hazen in a non-counter and outscored in those combined games 12-3 their opponents. So this is a team, again, capable of putting it in the back of the net. Statistically, they're averaging, I think, 3 goals a game, but in WDA games, if you take away the non-region, that goes down to about 2. So this is a team that's still trying to find maybe that scoring power against conference opponents, but they definitely do have the capabilities, and they showed it there during the holiday break. But before we take a look or head on over to a next break, let's take a look at the special teams here. And Austin, tell us a little bit about the special teams numbers for the Mavs.
Yeah, so for Dickinson, for their power play, they're averaging about 15% on the power play. So tonight, definitely want to take advantage of that if you get a power play opportunity. And then for the penalty kill, they're averaging about 76%. So they're really similar to, Legacy on their penalty kill. Dickinson, at least when I played, we were notorious for getting penalties. We were one of the most penalized teams in the state. So tonight's a night where you want to play smart in the offensive zone. Don't get penalties there. If you have to draw one in the defensive zone to keep a goal out, you just got to make sure that you understand that, hey, Legacy, they got a good power play unit.
Yeah, it's one of those things. When you look at the numbers here, I mean, Legacy's had 50 power play chances this year. Dickinson had 39. Penalty kills, both teams have a very similar amount of penalties. Sabres 39, Mavericks 37. But as you mentioned, penalty kill numbers are very similar. Power play numbers very heavily in favor of Legacy by 13% or 11%. So again, for the Mavericks, this is something that they need to zone in on in that power play. Take advantage when you are on the man advantage. And in that Williston game, I mean, you look back at that, I mean, standing-wise, and maybe this is when the season ends, depending on how that shakes up, I mean, that could go either way. But that game, Dickinson was on the power play for almost the entirety of the second period because of a couple of majors and then a couple of minors back-to-back for Williston. And I think they were on the man advantage for almost 10, 12 straight minutes and just could not quite net a goal. So it's just one of those things where as the season goes on, though, your chemistry with that power play unit is going to get better. And here in this one could be one of those things where you want to make sure that you're limiting the other team's power play opportunities and making the most of yours. Well, let's take a break. When we come back, we are talking about players to watch. We got some graphics up for you when we return. Legacy taking on Dickinson here in the Queen City. You're listening to the PSP Network.
This presentation on the PSP Network is proudly brought to you by social media platforms. PSP Network, it's game day.
At Ryan Buick GMC, we treat every day like game day.
1.2-liter turbo engine, ultra-wide screen.
1.2-liter turbo engine, ultra-wide screen, on 2. Ready? Break.
We know how to get you in the right vehicle.
Blue Canyons, and hut, hut.
From the test drive to the handoff, we make every step easy. This season, start your drive at Ryan Buick GMC.
Nobody thinks about personal injury until it happens. But when injury strikes, so will your bills and the turmoil and everything you'll miss out on. It's a mess and you need someone to help it all make sense. That someone is Schweigert, Clemene, and McBride. We know the territory and the process, and we work smart and hard to get you results. It's easier to get back to normal knowing there's a team behind you. We're the ones the other side doesn't want you to call. We're on your side. We're Schweigert, Clemene, and McBride.
Welcome back in as it's time for players to watch. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of players here in the next couple of minutes. And let's start it off with the visiting Legacy Sabres. And hey, what better way to start than that top line? It's Legacy's big three. There might not have been a bigger three since, if you're a Miami Heat basketball fan, LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. This is the epitome of that big three, but in North Dakota high school hockey right now. Harrison Johnson, Ben Garley, Beckham, Presley, McKay. Oh my gosh, their numbers have been nothing short of incredible. Harrison Johnson, 14 goals, 20 assists, 34 points. He is first in the WDA in points, second in the entire state with those 34 points. Ben Garley, 17 goals, 10 assists, 27 points, second in the WDA, tied for fourth in state. And the sophomore, Beckham Presley McKay, 11 goals, 14 assists, 25 points. That's fourth best in the WDA, tied seventh in the state. So 3 guys inside the top 4 in the WDA in scoring, 3 guys inside the top 10 in the state in scoring, and they come all in on this legacy team. I mean, that is how you build a team right there. You have that fantastic first line, and that's why a big reason why this team is the top scoring offense in the region.
Yeah, and having Harrison Johnson as your captain, and as well as Ben Garley as an assistant, really sets the tone for the rest of the team that this is the standard that our leadership is setting, and everyone else has got to, kind of strive for that standard as well. So all those guys working on one line, great for the younger kids on this team to look up to those upperclassmen, and overall just great line.
I mean,
top 3 in the state is pretty awesome.
And if you look at it, Ben Garley and Harrison Johnson are seniors. Then you got a sophomore, Beckham Presley McKay. And then you go, okay, what about that sophomore or that second line? Well, then you still got 2 seniors in Cooper Schwann and Isaac Jerome, and they're centered by a sophomore in Kyle Lorenz. So, I mean, the senior-sophomore pairing is beneficent for them. That second line, pretty much everyone has 10 points on the year. I really like Isaac Jerome's play, a very kind of intense back-check, forecheck type player. He's got 4 goals on the season. And then that third line, Austin, I mean, this is a line that has been picking up some shifts, but they've got some scoring as well, especially there in Carter Madison on that third line, who's got 6 goals this year. Quite impressive.
Yeah, that's amazing. For your third line, I mean, you're just expecting that line to kind of give your first and second line a break, get fresh legs, but if you can get some production out of that line, 6 goals in the season, I'd be pretty happy if I was a coach. I mean, you can always expect more, I think, but considering that Max Rude, he's a junior, and then you got the freshman, Max and Johnson. That's pretty impressive to be working with those guys and the production that he's getting. Carter Madison with the 6 goals in the season, as you previously mentioned.
And the defensemen, Bo Raschke and Carter Hoon, the sophomore top line pairing, they're not too shabby either. 13 points for Raschke, 4 for Carter Hoon. Then you got some more experienced guys in that second group defensively of Brody Berger and Blaze Miller. And that tonight, Brody Crumwoody is, again, he's been the main guy all season long, 87% save percentage. Let's now move on over to Dickinson here before we get ready for opening festivities. And it's Mavs on the rise as Dylan Gross, he's got 6 points on the season, but 5 of those 6 points have come in the last 6 games. He started the season with 1 point in his first 5. Well, that has ramped up as of late, and he's another one of those players, kind of like Isaac Jerome, just in your face, high forecheck, back check, does the little things right, and you're going to get rewarded when you play that way.
Yeah, that's a tough style of hockey to play against if you're a defenseman. I mean, when they're in your face, you have no time to decide what to do with the puck, and a lot of times you just end up throwing it to try to get it to one of your teammates. Never a great recipe. So if you can get and kind of intimidate those defensemen, put your body on them, good things will happen. Your teammates will get the puck, you might get the puck, and you can capitalize on those opportunities.
And now Colin Boltz, the other one on the list. In his first 6 games of the season, he had 5 assists and no goals. Well, it's been reversed in the last 6 games. He's had 5 goals, no assists in the last 6 games. But, hey, either way, he is just efficient. I mean, that is one of those guys that, he's making a way. If it's assists or if it's goals, he's finding a way to make an impact there on the Maverick side. Well, now let's talk maybe a little bit about those top liners and those kind of playmakers throughout the season for Dickinson. And you got to talk about Ryland Miller. He's their point leader on the year. 6 goals, 8 assists, 14 points. Colin Boltz, we just mentioned, tied for second with Tatum Streeter, who has got 6 goals and 4 assists. Then Kaysen Grohl, the captain, 3 goals, 4 assists. And then Dylan Gross comes in there at 5th. So a couple guys to keep an eye on there. But, Maybe looking at that production off that back line, I mean, you're really looking at Case and Groh, who's really started picking up point production-wise as well. A little bit of a slower start for him point-wise to start the season, but he's one of those players that makes an impact regardless if he's getting points or not. But when he gets points, it's a little bit of that added bonus to this Maverick side.
100%. I played with his two brothers, older brothers, and they played the same style of hockey that Kaysen does. It's in your face, aggressive. Yeah.
Well, that is tonight's Valvoline Instant Oil Change pregame show. So let's head on over to tonight's national anthem here inside the West River Ice Center in Dickinson. That was tonight's national anthem. When we return in 30 seconds, it's time for Puck Drop.
For goals, I'll let you follow them, and then I'll be like the goalie cam, like head back there.
It is now time for Puck Drop as Legacy in town to take on the Dickinson Mavericks. I'm Brock Widener, joined alongside Austin Rotz. And Austin, are you ready for some hockey?
Super excited, Brock. This should be a great matchup and a great game to start our Tuesday.
Starting the Tuesday action, Garley, Johnson, Presley, McKay, the starters on one end. Starting off with the line, and then it's Streeter. Was he the center? And he is joined by Rylan Miller on that front line as well. Off and running, and a quick cover-up from Brody Crumwoody, and we are got our first stoppage of play and getting ready for the second face-off of tonight.
Yeah, it looks like Crumwoody might have got snowed there a little bit, too. I see, not sure if it was his teammate or who it was, but.
Dylan Gross, the other one on the starting lineup. Sometimes a little hard with the gray and white mixture on the jerseys there. Couldn't quite see the three initially, but there you go. Rylan Miller tries to drop that one down. It gets poked loose and scooped back up before being brought down by Emmerd, the sophomore defenseman. Gross almost had it right on his stick in a prime real estate position. A nice start here for Dickinson, but they are able to slow down that first line and not give any chances to the top scoring line in the state on that first shift. Big time hit for Legacy, and it opens up the door. Running now with it there is Cooper Schwann. Schwann, he gets nailed in the corner, and that pushes the puck from Streeter to send it down. He'll go for a line change. Miller buys some time as puck goes down. They will have the icing, and yes, indeed, as it is touched up by Caden Cheddar. Good to see Caden Cheddar back in the lineup. Kind of one of the speedy defensemen. He missed a couple of games, but always fun to watch. I like the speed from the back line.
Oh, for sure.
Well, Austin, what do you like from that Dickinson to start? I mean, that first shift from the top line of the state was a no factor.
Yeah, I thought it was a really great. I I guess, first couple minutes here. Get Legacy on their heels, get them stuck in their zone, and then start putting pucks on net. Dickinson's got 2 shots.
Stretch pass almost corralled there, not quite by Carter Madison on the third line. As Carter Madison, he's a little bit on a hot streak right now. He had a 2-goal game in his last outing against Hazen. He's averaging a goal every other game. 6 goals in 12 games there for Madison. Extension up almost as if Blaze Miller was able to tame that one down. He could have had a breakaway, but stumbled back with it and allowed Dickinson to get their defenders back into the play. Back in the jump, and here comes Rylan Betchivilis on the left side of the net. He tries to center one home. No one home in the white jersey, and Maxon Johnson just chips into the corner. Cheddar races out with it. Cheddar works it to his backhand on the far side. With 11:10 remaining here in period number 1 and a scoreless hockey game. Laid down as the referees say it gets tipped by a Maverick, so that will negate the icing. Grohl coming out of the shift there and hits off of his skate into the corner. Almost a dangerous situation with Ben Gartley lurking. Spillman pokes that one away. Raschke gets a piece of it. Now Spillman again. Spillman had Gross with him, but he could not quite tame the puck down. Raschke sends it down. Here comes Legacy on the prowl. Johnson trying to force that one to Garley. Ramps up off of a Maverick stick. McKay sends it all the way down. Johnson sends it right back to him. But he got off the line. Raschke trying to seal it. Loose puck picked up by Dylan Gross. He'll chip it off his own board. And back on the go is Dickinson down the ice. 10 minutes remaining here in period number 1 in a scoreless hockey game. Dylan Gross fires a low shot, kicked away by Crumwoody. Brody Crumwoody has been started all but 1 game this season. Their last game was his first time having a day off, and his team found a way to win without him in net 10-1 over Hazen. So they called in Zach Zabel off of JV, and he picked up the win with saving 14 of the 15 North Star shots. Not a ton of shots on either side here to start. That one goes the length of the ice. Crumwood, sees a change for Dickinson, trying to take advantage. Quick little touch there by Schwann. Jerome finds the edge up and over the netting. A good look for Jerome. But Dickinson keeps it out of the net. We have got our scoreboard back up and are operating. Big thanks out there to Austin Rotz. Getting that back up on the board here for us. We'll let him catch his breath as he'll join the broadcast back on. Blaze Miller chips it over to Jerome behind the net. 4-3 hockey game here, 4-3 in shots, 0-0, still trying to find the scoreboard. Case and Grohl. Little back touch to Thomas Miller, who's back in after missing a couple of games. He's back in action as well, a senior. Brody Berger, one of the alternate captains, with a stretch pass. That's scooped up by Kyler Renz. Little tap there from Jerome to Schwann. Back to Renz, and he nets it in. The second line, picture perfect passing, puts Legacy on the board first, 1-0. As Legacy gets in and makes the score change for the first time tonight. It's the second line that does it. Let's take a look on the instant replay. Brought to you by Ryan Family Dealerships. There you see the back end of it there. Renz picking up the goal, assisted by his line mates of Schwann and Jerome, with 8:20 remaining here in period number 1. So Kyler Renz again, assisted by Jerome and Cooper Schwann. That second line They are more than capable of putting the puck in the back of the net. All of them have about 10 points on the season. They just complement each other so well, and there you saw it there. Picture-perfect play as Raschke goes down. Will not be called a tripping there as Betsy Vilas was in the area. Spillman lays in the body. Played back. Here comes a blue line shot. Kicked aside. Nice shot for Carter Madison. It goes down the length of the ice. As Austin, you're able to catch your breath. Thanks for running down there. Got the scoreboard back up and operating.
Yeah, no problem. Did the IT special, turn it on and turn it off, and I guess it's working now. So, perfect.
I mean, it's just technology. Sometimes that's all you need to do. The old unplug and plug back in.
Oh, yeah, learn from the best. Our producer here, Zach Sprague, the IT specialist.
Well, I think you got right back in the grandstands right before Legacy scored the opening goal of this one, but Legacy up 1-0 and tripped down there by Crumwoody. Right there in the slot, trying to turn and shoot there is Miller. Lots of chaos, but Legacy able to finally peel that puck away and chip it down the boards. Grohl plays it forward to Streeter, backhand. Oh, he avoids a big-time hit. As I think it was Blaze Miller that had was locked on him there, but Streeter, little dipsy-doodle around the checking.
Yeah, possibly a dangerous pass from the senior Caden Grohl there, but it seemed to work out there in that situation. Something that you might want to maybe float that pass out a little bit more for your forward there. Just don't want to give him a hospital pass by any means, but Dickinson, from what I'm seeing right now, they're really trying to establish that neutral zone control.
Jerome, he sails in. That's blockered aside by Roars. The second line is kind of that line that's producing a lot of chances so far for Legacy. And they've been the one that has put them up 1-0. Schwann plays it to Jerome. His pass knocked away. Back to Schwann it goes. He backhands it to Jerome, who gets shoved in by behind and allows the Mavericks to try to skedaddle out. Gross was hard on the puck there as he blows a tire. But a high effort play there for Gross, and Gross is going to let a little shot there on Schwann as he was going for a line change. Sailing in is Raschke. The blue liner that's tallied 13 points on the year leaves it out to Jerome. And they're in the process of trying to get those second liners out in place of the third line. A couple of them made the change already. As Bolt's little dump in, Chase caught the awkward pad there of Crumwoody, and he's able to snatch that one in. 5:31 remaining here in period number one.
Raschke's been really impressive for the defense so far for Legacy. Seeing how comfortable he is to take that puck in deep, let his teammates who are changing on the bench come in, and it's opened up quite a few opportunities for Legacy so far, I must say.
And if you're a UND hockey fan, I mean, that's what you see a lot now with the Fighting Hawks this season, of the defense going in on the attack, allowing in for some line changes, and there you saw Legacy put that on display here tonight.
Wonder if that's a Mario Lemieux staple that he brought in.
Emmerd tries to chip that one down. Yeah, Lamoureux was head coach here for a while as Max Rude shot, blocker to save by Roars. Lamoureux has worked with a lot of teams inside the WDA during the offseason, and these two teams in particular. So maybe you'll see kind of two teams that have been kind of coached and trained in very similar ways, at least during the offseason standards. Jansen chips that down, but quickly back up by Legacy. Chipped along the boards by Esslinger as they got the third line deep pairing out for Legacy. Shots, though, dead even, 7 apiece with 4:35 remaining. Jumping into it is Spillman. Spillman fires a shot. Crumwoody thought he had it as it gets played into the corner. Almost a dangerous play there, giving up a rebound opportunity, but luckily for Legacy, no Maverick was there. Played down the boards if it gets to the red line, and it does, as it's going to go all the way back down the ice.
Yeah, really a dangerous play there. If Dickinson would have had one more attacker, that thing would have been in the back of the net. You know that the Mavericks there would be all celebrating as a team tying this matchup up.
4:14 remaining here in period number one. Shots right now actually favor the Mavericks 8-7. And puck possession-wise has been pretty even as Grohl fires that one, pushed into the corner by Crumwoody's pad. Scooped up by Robidoux. Robidoux lays it in, a little turn and shoot by Miller. Lots of traffic. Crumwoody makes a nice save to keep Legacy in front. Let's take a look at that one on the Ryan Family Dealership instant replay. Lots of traffic that kind of ends up coming right here, right to the side of Crumwoody. And a Maverick even gets on top of Crumwoody in the aftermath. Unintentionally. But, hey, this is hard-nosed hockey here tonight. Trying to play in those gritty areas here of the Mavericks, trying to get one back. Crumwoody eats that one right in the chest. Crumwoody doing a really good job right now of just squaring up those pucks in the chest area. But here comes Legacy going to the backhand. Was Jerome, and he's denied. Jerome with a little deflection there. I think that was behind his, or in between his legs. Isaac Jerome, what a shift for him as the senior, putting in a little bit of the razzle-dazzle. See if I caught this one on the Ryan Family Dealership's instant replay on the break with Isaac Jerome. There he goes, sails through the Mavericks defense, goes to the backhand, but Parker Roars denies him at the doorstep.
Yeah, that was a big effort by Parker Roars to block that shot, and then I think I saw him use a little bit of poke check in there too.
Hey, brush that one aside and make sure you don't got any rebound opportunities, as this second line has been hard on pucks here for Legacy. Lots of traffic denied by Roars. Not sure if he saw any bit of that puck. The third line now coming out swinging for the Sabres. Colin Bolts comes down the ice, fires one from the blue line, almost gets a friendly deflection off the boards and almost came right back in front of the crease. Just hits the side of it, now back and running. Max Root trying to win the race, but cut off by the sophomore defender. Edward gives it up right in prime real estate, saved again by Roars. As it's Maxon Johnson, the freshman, getting another grade A opportunity. Big chances are starting to come a little bit more and more often now for the Sabres. Puck corralled by the senior Berger. Extends it up to his deep partner Miller, and Miller will go for a line change. Sailing in his Grohl, he lost his glove, so he'll just try to play a little bit more of a physical game without the glove there. I think that's his. Or maybe not.
No, that was Ben Garley's glove. I saw him pick it up on the ice there later.
Garley now fires a shot after he picks up the glove. Ringing the iron there is Legacy. As Garley and Presley McKay both get a nice whack at it, but cannot light the horn. But Ken Johnson, no, diving out for it. Another save for Roars, and Dickinson able to clear. As Roars and Ben Garley saying a little how you doing. They both give each other a stick tap as Garley finally heads towards the bench there. Getting a lot of Ryan Family Dealership instant replays, but for good play here. Here we go. The second line, first line, Harrison Johnson, not quite ate up cleanly there by Roars, but no harm, no foul. His defenseman able to clear that one away with $1:34 remaining here in period number one. Cheddar was down on his knees, able to try to just fish that one into the neutral zone. Back up by Schwann that saw Betchy Vilas on a stampede towards him. So just kind of lets that puck flutter down. Chase behind Roars. Nice little check by Schwann. Spillman plays it high off the glass. Bobbling puck tamed down by Legacy. Spillman, little half spin. Chips it off the boards and right to Betchy Vilas, who had a little bit of a stick on that one. Cheddar shows his speed, races down the ice. Spillman dumps it in. Has to be a dump and chase as Cheddar was on the opposite side. Jansen to Cheddar. Makes one man miss. Caden Cheddar makes the second man miss, and just misses the trigger. Betchy Vilas ramping up the attack, keeping up when the iron's hot, but deflected up in front. Cheddar, the speedy defenseman. He's already got one good look this shift. Can he make it a second? Almost jams it home, but Crumwoody getting the pad on it. Caden Cheddar so far putting up the pressure, and there's a save on Jansen, or Colin Bolts, excuse me, and all the chaos. Oh my goodness. Look at Caden Cheddar. Splits not one, but two Legacy defenders, gets to the crease, but Crumwood, just getting a piece of it. Face-off won by Legacy with 16 seconds left, high into the air, pawed down by the Mavericks D-liner of Emmerd. The sophomore powers through, seeing if the Mavs can get one more shot on net here. A hit there established by Bolts. Johnson, the freshman, tried to dangle around goal, but that will be the end of period number one. And some excitement ramping up at the end of the period. Some good tries on both sides, but it's Legacy that leads after 1-0. Let's take a break. When we come back, the Charbonneau Car Center halftime show comes on when we return.
This presentation on the PSP Network is proudly brought to you by social media platforms. PSP Network, it's game day.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, your trusted partner for commercial and business loans. We not only provide lending you need to grow your business, but we also reinvest in our communities. We believe in strengthening our businesses and creating opportunities for success. Choose Dakota Community Bank and Trust for your commercial and business loans, and together let's keep our communities thriving.
Serving the community, looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Planning for the future is difficult, but pre-planning your funeral is a thoughtful way to ease the burden on your loved ones. At Stevenson Funeral Home, our compassionate team will help you create a personalized plan that reflects your values. We'll make sure that your wishes are honored and that your family will have peace of mind in a challenging time. Call us today to start your pre-planning journey. You can count on us to be with you every step of the way. Stevenson Funeral Home.
When facing disaster, it's not just the things we lose, but the memories. But there's hope. ServPro, with decades of experience in Minot and Bismarck, is always ready. Our certified professionals don't just restore homes, they rebuild lives. Because to us, you're not just a client, you're family.
One thing that I've always enjoyed about being a physician is just the patient and physician relationship.
Part of why I trusted him was because I felt more than just a patient.
We figured out the best situation for my injury, and we chose the one that would best fit me.
I'm a huge sports fan, have been my whole life and still am today. I have a strong desire to help people maintain their activity levels and to get back to doing the things that they are passionate about.
Nobody thinks about personal injury until it happens. But when injury strikes, so will your bills and the turmoil and everything you'll miss out on. It's a mess and you need someone to help it all make sense. That someone is Schweigert, Clamine, and McBride. We know the territory and the process, and we work smart and hard to get you results. It's easier to get back to normal knowing there's a team behind you. We're the ones the other side doesn't want you to call. We're on your side. We're Schweigert, Clamine, and McBride.
For decades, Nodak Insurance Company has been serving our state's residents in good times and challenging times. We come together for the greater good, from simple acts of kindness to company-wide efforts that make a difference in our community. It's who we are, rooted in North Dakota and ready to serve when it matters most. Nodak Insurance Company, agents with answers.
Darren Johnson, Cody Olson, and Scott Wilkins, your agents with answers in Mandan.
Since 2003, the architects and engineers at Ackerman Esvold have been enhancing everyday life. From response times to commute times, we've helped create critical infrastructure, enhancing highway safety, flood protection, and public education. And we're no stranger to enhancing fun, family outings, and even game time. Ackerman Esvold, working to enhance your everyday life.
When facing disaster, it's not just the things we lose, but the memories. But there's hope. ServPro, with decades of experience in Minot and Bismarck, is always ready. Our certified professionals don't just restore homes, they rebuild lives. Because to us, you're not just a client, you're family.
We want it all. We want our dog to fetch it.
Drop it.
And drop it. We want to fix it ourselves. And actually fix it. We want to order the market price lobster. And know the market price of the lobster.
How much is... Whatever the market says.
Sadly, we can't have it all. Except at Sport Clips, where we check in with the pros in men's hair and totally check out with pure, uninterrupted relaxation. Sport Clips. It's a game changer.
17 minutes of play down, and we have got one goal on the board. Legacy leads 1-0 as we welcome you into the Charbonneau Car Center intermission show. Big thanks out to Charbonneau Car Center. Charbonneau Car Center, they know drivers in Dickinson, New England, Richardson, Belfield, Wilson, North Dakota, and Glendive, Montana. Work hard, play hard, need a car that can keep up. That's why they choose the offer Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram lineup at their dealerships in Dickinson. If you're interested in learning more, stop into their showrooms and treat yourself to a test drive. Visit them online at charbonneaumotors.com. And hey, don't forget, they've got 2 locations now here at the Queen City.
Yeah, they got one on the east side of town and then on the kind of the middle of town, close to...
just on the outskirts of the western part of the town there.
Yeah, Cass and Terry, that is. They got a great crew out there. They got a vehicle for you. They're good guys, and couldn't recommend them more.
Hey, 2 locations means more vehicles to choose from.
Oh, yeah, and that's... They broke it up, I think, just this past summer, where they got the Ram dealership now, and then they got a GM dealership as well. So whether you're a Ram fan or a GM follower, they got the ride for you.
Well, let's jump into this first period of action. And as we talk about it, let's get those game highlights on the board. We've got some fun ones and some that really started ramping up at the end of the period. So as you continue to see, I mean, the back end of this first period was just absolute chaos. That is for sure. There's that first goal of the game, and the only goal of the game. Kyler Renz scores it, assisted by Isaac Jerome and Cooper Schwan. That second line, they looked good there in period number 1. That's for sure. But Dickinson, they had their fair share of chances there. There you see Crumwoody getting ran over. 13-10 in shots. Dickinson leads in the shot category, but you see Legacy coming out on a nice fast break. And it was Rob there. I believe that was Isaac Jerome on the fast break. I mean, that second line, they came out swinging in the opening 17 for Legacy. And, hey, why not try another little break here, and that one right to the stick of Maxon Johnson. The freshman was handed just an incredible steak meal on a silver platter, just could not quite bury that one. And again, you see just great opportunities here late by Legacy. Some nice fast break, had the number chances on the numbers game, but then Dickinson in the final minute started to say, hey, let's just make this last minute, make it our minute. And Crumwoody had to make some incredible saves. Right there was Caden Cheddar, who had the chance there, but just could not get that forehand to go. And then here's Caden Cheddar again, just seconds later, just his individual effort takes it down all the way the length of his ice, battles two different Legacy Sabres by himself, and tries to jam one home there on Crumwoody. But overall, some fantastic individual efforts, some actual team efforts there. But at the end of one, it's anyone's hockey game. 1-0 Legacy. They lead on the scoreboard. Dickinson leads in the shots, 13-10. But Austin, what are your takeaways? And let's start off with the visitors and the team up on the scoreboard, the Legacy Sabres.
Yeah, I would say with the Sabres, they came out just a little slower than I think both of us were expecting and would have liked to see out of the Sabres. They just seemed kind of flat-footed. They were losing puck races, puck battles. They did have some big hits to kind of establish themselves, but I didn't really see that Legacy identity that we've seen in other games and in our statistics. Further...
Yeah, no, I'm going to jump in on that because
yeah.
I really think this is one of those things where that first line just wants to get you in a groove. If they win that first shift, they're going to win all night long. And for Dickinson, that first shift, they won the face-off. They tilted the ice for, a minute and a half. And that first line, that is the top line in the state production-wise, didn't have it over the neutral zone. And it was one of those things where you win that first shift, you kind of maybe, I wouldn't say hurt the confidence. I mean, they're no shy of confidence. They're the top line in the state for a reason, but it's one of those things where it makes confidence on Dickinson's side of, hey, we can shut that first line down. And overall, shutting down that first line was very impressive for Dickinson. Maybe gave up a couple of chances kind of in the middle portion of that period, but overall, they were able to shut down Preston McKay, Garley, and Johnson very well. That second line, though, stepped up in a major way for Legacy, and that's a big reason why they are in the leader right now, 1-0.
Yeah, Isaac Jerome was just an animal. He was on a tear on that second line. Everywhere you could see him, there he was. Some other things about the Sabres that I kind of noticed as well is they need to plug up those kind of lanes in the defensive zone. We saw Dickinson do a great job splitting up those defensemen, getting those opportunities. And while they weren't able to score on those are opportunities that this defense should not allow. And so if I'm the coach, I'm telling them, hey, make sure we need to have guys back-checking hard, coming back, covering those lanes to not allow Dickinson those opportunities.
Yeah, and you really saw it at the end of that period, really with maybe Caden Cheddar kind of exploiting that on Legacy. I mean, Dickinson is one of those teams where arguably two of their better skaters, come from that back line. Case and Grohl and Caden Cheddar. The ability they have to go coast to coast is fantastic. And like you said, you got to make sure those guys just can't exploit that.
No, yeah. And the last thing I have for the Sabres is you got to help Crumwoody out a little bit. I didn't see too many block shots from the Sabres. And with how many shots Dickinson and the Mavs were able to get on that period there, you just got to help Crumwoody out, control those rebounds, and get down and not allow those shots. So
yeah, and he's not had a bad game. He's
played really well.
Yeah, it's just right now it's maybe just the rebound opportunities, but he is making that first initial save really well. He's getting in front of it, placing in front, and exactly where you want to be. Now for Dickinson here as the players hit the ice.
Yeah, so as you said, they came out swinging and are winning in the shot kind of scoreboard if you're counting those. But they need to control their defensive breakouts. What I'm seeing is Dickinson's kind of chucking the puck up the ice and then losing those defensive battles because the forwards just aren't there. So if you can kind of control those kind of defensive breakouts, get it into the neutral zone and go into the offensive zone with speed, you'll really give yourself the opportunity to be successful and put the puck behind the goalie there. Next, they also need to keep kind of the pucks outside on the defense. We saw in that goal that the Sabres had, they kind of allowed them to come right up the middle of the gut. They didn't put a body on, didn't kind of plug up those lanes to the middle of the net. And ultimately, now they're down 1 going into the second. Next, and kind of the last thing before I'll hand it back to you, Brock, they need to establish the offense. They had a couple of times that I saw that they were hounding Crumwoody, just peppering him with shots, coming in all over, but get a man to get a goal. I guess you got to have a man in each lane, move the goalie, and have everyone crash in the net hard.
Yeah, for them, it's just they got to be there for those rebound opportunities. So we've seen a couple where there's a really good opportunity if you just have one more guy there to try to jam that one home. But here comes Dickinson right away. Dylan Gross, he's going to send that out to Kason Grohl, trying to make a man back to Gross and down the line. It's all the way down the board. Tatum Treater trying to win the race to it. Rylan Miller turn and shoot up and over the net off a deflection there. Dickinson, like they did in the first period, trying to win that first minute of play. Kason Grohl. He'll jam that one up. Johnson chips it off the board. Garley, extension to Presley McKay as that one pinballs off the side and all the way down for an icing. Big thanks out to our sponsor, Minot State. The best way to predict your future is created with over 100 areas of study at Minot State. You'll earn the degree for the career you desire with more than 96% of recent Minot State grads employed or continuing their education. MSU grads get jobs, period. Minot State University. Be seen, be heard, be you. Cullen Bolt's trying to peel that one back. Robidoux sends it down the board. Frankie Montoya, one of the hardest working players, according to Coach Chad Miller on the ice. As he's on, trying to get that puck right back for the Mavericks. But it's the second line for Legacy, and that was kind of that difference-making line with Schwann, Jerome, and Renz, who's got the goal. Blaze Miller gets it right to Jerome, but could not quite tame that one, and Robidoux sends it down. Miller.
This has been an impressive start to Dickinson coming out of the second. I don't know if the Sabres have been able to get it down into the offensive zone, or their own offensive zone, but without icing it. Dickinson's really controlling that neutral zone, staying patient and allow their forwards to kind of forecheck. And you keep it up, an opportunity will come.
Yeah, Dickinson, arguably the first minute or two in both periods. They came out of the gate strong, and exactly what Chad Miller wants to see out of his Mavs here tonight, trying to play upset to the highest scoring team in the region. Rylan Betchivilas tried to work to the backhand. It gets poked loose, and here comes Carter Madison with it. The third line senior. Max Rude has that one. No, he kept his stick. There was Max Davis that lose the stick. Fired high and wide by Carter Hoon. The young sophomore looking for his first goal on the season. Tally with his 4 assists on the year. Jammed around by Madison. Raschke, he's going to be trying to seal the edge, playing aggressive. Spillman, Raschke gets it again. The sophomore dancing around with it. Now we'll chip it down along the boards for Max Rude. The third line doing their job, now trying to get it back to the first line, but here comes Dickinson out and running. Right to left across your screen, Rylan Betchivilas carves through, but it's poked away by Raschke. Kason Grohl, his shot blocked. Betchivilas tried to tame that one down. Here comes Presley McKay, but Emmerd shuts him down before he could get there. Hustle effort for the sophomore. That might have just saved a big opportunity. McKay to Garley in the slot, fought off by Roars.
Yeah, that was a dangerous line change by the Mavs there. Didn't get the puck all the way down to the offensive zone, and then almost gave a perfect scoring opportunity for Legacy Sabres there. I would like to see Dickinson to be a bit more smart with those line changes there. I know you're tired. You got tired legs, but you got to get that puck deep in the offensive zone and have control over it before you change in the neutral zone like that.
During the icing, I don't know if you saw that, Dylan Gross was just booking it down, trying to negate the icing. I just love the style of play he plays, just 100%, 110 miles per hour all the time. Blaze Miller chips it off the boards right there to Jerome, who had a huge first period, but that one offsides.
Another thing I'm noticing for Dickinson, too, is the Sabres, they're doing a great job in the offensive zone, is covering up Roars' eyes so he can't see where the puck is, getting the man in front of him, and creating those screen opportunities when they put a puck on net.
14 minutes remaining here in period number 1 as that's going to be whistled down. Big thanks out to BSN. BSN creates exclusive personalized solutions for North Dakota high school and collegiate programs, from custom equipment, uniforms, and coaches' apparel to fan wear, branding, and more. They do it all. Contact your local BSN sales pro today. Dylan Gross lays in a check there, allows that puck to jar loose as they'll get it back to Gross, who whacks it down. Rylan Miller on patrol, trying to get this puck back. Isaac Jerome doing a good job of playing keep away. Shoved into the referee. There is Jerome as he goes down hard. A big check by Caden Cheddar. And the physicality ramping up as Jerome getting the worst end of it, not once but twice in the sequence. And now Jerome trying to maybe retaliate a little bit, trying to get Dylan Gross. And first period, you didn't see a ton of physicality. And now you're seeing a lot of it. Dylan Gross, a huge check, and he's going to go into the penalty box. As now some aftermath, some more pushing and shoving. Both teams standing up for each other as their teammates. But Austin, you kind of had a feeling it was going to get to that point, and here's the aftermath, or at least kind of the ender to send Dylan Gross into the box.
Yeah, I think on this one, the ref would have just liked to see Dickinson hit that player a little bit closer to the glass there, a little bit closer to the boards. Kind of a dangerous play there when your player's a couple steps away from the boards, but we'll see what they call there.
I mean, sometimes, too, it's when you kind of lunge, and I'm going to let's put that back up here, because this is where maybe you can get into that's maybe where it was, is that lunging and kind of towards the head area, and maybe they're thinking if this is a 2 or a 5. I mean, our cameraman's a referee. Is it a 2 or a 5? We'll see what he gives us. Seeing if that is maybe enough warranted.
I was talking to our cameraman before the game about some of the rule changes that they've made for the officials. And one of them is that they want the players to try to play the puck first and then the body. And that's something you're kind of seeing in USA Hockey as well, is not that physicality is leaving the game, but they want to protect players, their health, and hockey's kind of moving to more of that skilled type kind of sport, away from the goon style, last man standing type of hockey. But looks like the refs are still discussing. So
yeah, and for Dylan Gross, it's sometimes just you get caught up in that. I mean, I did it as an athlete too. You get caught up in all that. It looks like they're going to go Gross on a 5-minute major, Isaac Jerome on a 2-minute, and I think that is probably the right call.
Yeah, I would agree. That's probably the perfect call.
Yeah,
you get the retaliation penalty, you get the initial one. I wouldn't have called it any better if I was a ref.
So they'll go and maybe I think Jerome might have got it after the aftermath. After it all happened, when he came in maybe after the whistle there. But those two players were kind of having a boxing match, a UFC fight their entire shift, and it just kind of came down there at the end, both of them in the box. So we'll play 4-on-4 for 2 minutes, and then after that it'll be a 3-minute all-you-can-eat buffet there for the Legacy Sabres, and they'll start on it early. Harrison Johnson picking up the goal. And there's that first line. That first line continues to make it, and we talked about, I know this isn't a quote-unquote power play, but you'd rather play this group 5-on-5 because their skill 5-on-4, 4-on-4 gets even more elevated.
Exactly, and they kind of fooled me. I didn't realize that Johnson was playing back. I thought they had a defenseman in there and was going to make a comment that they just put the sophomore and the forward up front, but no, they got the whole line out there.
Well, they're going to all join in on the fun. That entire first line, that point production-wise, is number 1 in the state. All get a point because it's Johnson with the goal and Garley and Presley McKay with the assist. So, hey, I know they're sitting right now 1, 2, and 4 in the WDA, and after the night, they might be 1, 2, 3. Who knows? Again, 4-on-4 for another 50 seconds. There's already a big-time goal, and here they go again. It's Ben Gartley this time. All alone. Cheddar trying to catch him up, and a nice save by Roars. That first line that Dickinson held in check much of this start of this game is now really starting to come alive since the aftermath of all that chaos that resulted in those 2 penalties, not quite offsetting, as again, one was a major and one was a minor, but it has now allowed that first line to really show the potential tonight.
Yeah, I was wondering, as a coach, would you practice 4-on-4 in your games or in your practice? How do you prepare for that as a team? And I think Legacy's playing it the perfect way, keeping a line together and just adding one of your senior defensemen out there, hoping that something good happens.
Case and Grohl makes 2 men miss as he enters the zone. Now backhand that one in, and that was big for Dickinson because Legacy's now at full strength. So get the puck in the Legacy zone and now just try to eat some time, and Spillman doing just that, as Spillman going to put his skate right along the puck as it's finally jarred loose by the Sabres, and here comes Isaac Jerome freshly out of the sin bin. Rylan Bechivilas tries to tame it down. Harrison Johnson, he has already got a goal in this little power 4-on-4. Can he get a power play goal this time? Ate up by Roars right in the chest.
Yeah, if you missed the pregame, Legacy is 26% on their power play. So they already got one on even strength at 4-on-4, but for now odd man strength, we'll see how they do. And Dickinson sitting around 76% on the penalty kill. So
I always like the games when you got goals that come by different ways. We have a 5-on-5 and a 4-on-4 goal already in this game in the two goals. See if we find a different way to score, maybe 5-on-4 or 4-on-5 potentially. As flipped up by Crumwood, he'll tape that down. Johnson gets the first touch, but coming out of it now is Raschke. Raschke right onto the tape of Johnson. Johnson works it down, just going to fire it along the boards right to Gartley. Ben Gartley scoops it up. Raschke now. Raschke zones in on the Charbonneau logo. Quick touch pass. They tried to set it up to Johnson. Nice pass there by Gartley, but it got hit off of a Maverick skate. Gartley fishes it into the right side, the near side of the boards to Jerome. Plays it off the boards. Little touch there. Johnson to Raschke. Raschke kind of pump fakes the initial pass. Now works it down to Gartley, as Jerome gets checked into the boards. Loose puck as Presley McKay joins the mix. The sophomore, his pass for Raschke just off the mark. $1:12 remaining here in the power play off the 5-minute Dylan Gross major. Rylan Miller hits the brakes, sets it up for Streeter just to fire that one into the glove of Crumwoody. Crumwoody, luckily he was paying attention, was not expecting a shot there, and one that had quite the oomph behind it, but good save there by Crumwoody from a distance. Johnson finds a pad, or Roars just kicks it out, as a couple of Mavericks on top of each other right in front of the slot allows the Legacy to set something up. Berger has one deflect wide of the net. And down the ice, almost a very scary situation if you're a Maverick fan. You're down 5-on-4, but you had 2 guys that were tripped over each other, but Legacy could not quite take advantage.
Yeah, that's been a staple of Dickinson hockey, having a super aggressive penalty kill. Sometimes it hurts you, but in what we're seeing now, it seems to be kind of paying off. It was a little scary there, but a staple of Dickinson hockey. It's what they taught us. Just don't give the other team time to make those plays.
Well, and for them, they have successfully killed, I guess, what would go down in the books, a 3-minute power play. As again, that goal came on one of we were on 4-on-4. As Colin Bolts whips around. Ooh, Dickinson almost had numbers. Bolts just put too much behind it. And if there was just a little less power, Miller had some company. I think it was Rylan Miller, and I was trying to catch that other number, but either way, it could have been a 2-on-1 for the Mavs. Streeter wins the draw. Now Jansen comes in. The ever so physical Jansen almost misses the check on the Legacy Sabre and almost checks the referee in the process. Hey, that's finishing the check there. Referee in harm's way, but you're taught to finish the check.
Oh, yeah, I think the refs need hazard pay for this game. They've been getting banged up.
Grohl tries to dangle through, poked away by Max Rude, and again, I've liked watching him as kind of that third-line grinding center for Legacy. Pass almost right on the stick of Johnson, who almost had a fresh breakaway. And that would have been another big opportunity for Legacy. We saw that in the first period when they were kind of gifted one from a bad pass in Dickinson's own zone. And it's a very similar situation there. Johnson to Garley, works it up to Preston McKay. He'll half spin out to Johnson, fires his shot. That one whistles wide. Coming from behind is Frankie Montoya as he came in on a late change. And Legacy just joining us, scored 1 goal in the first and 1 goal here in the second period. Goal scorers this far, Harrison Johnson and Kyler Renz. So those first 2 lines getting in on the scoring fun. As Johnson up to Garley. Great defense by the speedy Caden Cheddar, and now he'll push down Garley there. Robidoux battling hard with Presley McKay. Puck loose. The sophomore almost comes away with it, but it's his senior line mate that does. Johnson to Jerome. They're sending out the second line. Snapshot just to the right of the glove. As Johnson centering a pass. Lots of chaos. Montoya just gets it out and chips it into the neutral zone once more.
Right there's where I wish Montoya, he had the ice there. I wish he would have just held on to it and skated it a little bit further to try to help his team establish that neutral zone control. But and another one of those things we talked
Extension pass. Cooper Schwann. A little backhand forehand, and he's denied again. Nice save for Roars. He's made a couple of nice ones, and another highlight save to put on the reel for the intermission.
Again, Dylan Gross chasing down those icing calls. You know, as a defenseman, that's always scary. You're thinking that, oh, it's going to be an easy call, but you look behind, you do a shoulder check quick down ice, and you see one of the forwards just hounding you. It scares you a little bit.
Well, if he decides to play at the next level, I mean, those are the type of players when you get to the NHL, when it's not just the red line, it's a ref's discretion there of who wins the race. Dylan Gross could be a menace in that type of style of play. But for high school, it's, again, just to the red line the puck needs to get to. It's a quick snapshot. That gets jammed around there. The shot of Carter Hoon. 3:36 remaining here in period number 2 in a 2-0 hockey game where Legacy leads over Dickinson. Streeter joins the fun. Little backhand. Slow roller. Will be now sped up there by Legacy, trying to get it out of their own zone. And they will. Johnson finds it to Jerome. Ever so patient, Isaac Jerome waiting for some more Sabres to join him, but it's poked away by Cheddar. Cheddar with a breakaway. Up and over and in.
I heard a whistle. Hold on.
Wait a second.
Ref did not blow out a goal. No way that they're calling that not offsides, but I heard a whistle on this side down here.
I heard a whistle too, but again, I thought maybe they'd be calling it, and there's a penalty for Legacy. And so I think they're going to say that Legacy had possession of the
Dickinson, it's coincidental.
Oh,
penalties.
coincidental. Wow. Doesn't that change some stuff there? And you knew it was going to be Caden Cheddar or Dylan Gross that were going to get an opportunity with how they played today, just their speed and intensity. But this one waved off the score. What a beauty, too.
Yeah, that was.
Rings the crossbar.
13:55 of the second period.
Just
number 20, Kyler Renz, and Dickinson, number 3, Dylan Gross.
Dylan Gross and Kyler Renz on the coincidentals. Negates the Caden Cheddar breakaway goal. But good by the referees. They waved it off. There was a whistle, but all the players pretty much were playing past that whistle. I mean, how this was going on, I don't think either team really heard the whistle at that point. As now here comes Grohl. Grohl will now play it there as he goes down. And as he, in the process of getting up, that one's right in his lap, so he's going to chip it back in. But you can tell he's in kind of pain there, so he'll play it in and get for a line change. 2:20 remaining in the second. Quick snapshot. Crumwoody with the save.
One thing we're starting to see again here, Brock, is Dickinson in the later parts of each period just starts to flip on that switch and dump everything else that they have left in the tank going into intermission. We're starting to see Dickinson play really aggressive again, just like we did in the first. If they could kind of keep that level the entire game, it'd be a pretty hard team to beat, but you only have so much energy, and you got to choose when to use it and when to turn on the jets.
Well, as you saw there on that replay brought to you by Ryan Family Dealership, that was the goal that wasn't by Caden Cheddar. Again, coincidental minors in that same kind of sequence negates the penalty. It was a whistle, kind of a light whistle, but the players were playing through it, and ends up not being a goal there for Cheddar. Waved off. 2 minutes now remaining here. As big time check, but we will play on, and it'll go right to Carter Hoon at the Maverick logo at center ice. Played forward. Johnson gives a whack at it. Johnson knew he was going to get checked, so he kind of threw up an elbow there. I think Emmer got the worst of the exchange. High shot. Roars with this jumping up there and getting a bit of the shoulder on it. What a different night and day different game from the first period to the second period, physicality-wise. I mean, first period, we didn't have any penalties. Second period is, I think both teams had 2 guys go in the box, and pretty much all of them had been canceling each other out, other than the one was the major and one was the minor. Quick snapshot there by Miller is another one that's going to go up and into the netting.
Yeah, it looked like Carter Mason put his head down and tipped off his helmet and up into the the netting there.
Well, certainly a chaotic game so far. We've got 18:20 remaining in this one, but a $1:20 before we head to the Charbonneau Car Center second intermission show here on the PSP Network as Jerome works to the backhand. Trying to play that one back. Nice work there. Nice shift for Max Davis as Jerome chips it forward over to Carter Madison. Madison on that third line, but it's working with that second line at the moment. Been rewarded with some good play potentially as Grohl going to do some good work there as he's going to force a legacy penalty, and this will be the first time Dickinson is on the power play.
Yeah, this couldn't have come at a better time for Dickinson, too. You got 45 seconds left. You can kind of work some things in the zone, and then you're going into intermission. I guess you're going into the third period with a man advantage.
Yeah, if you don't score here, and we've seen what Dickinson has done in the first 2 minutes of each period. I mean, they've come out just really well there in the first 2 minutes of each period. So potentially, if they don't score here in the next 38 seconds, they'll at least have a man advantage to maybe benefit them a little bit more to start the third.
Yeah, and you know Chad Mailer is loving stuff like this. It gives him the chance to, hey, let's go to the locker room. Let's do some X's and O's on the whiteboard, figure out what's working for us, maybe make those adjustments to just get one on the board. Once you get one on the board, always seems like a couple follow after that. Makes it a lot easier, takes the pressure off the team, and gives you a little bit of breathing room to score more points.
Well, during the pregame show, we talked about the battle of Grand Forks. Central and Red River playing each other tonight. Red River was leading majority of the way, but Grand Forks Central picks up the 4-3 win. So the reigning state champs pick up another win against Red River after defeating them in the state title game last year in Grand Forks. As 8 seconds left, chipped up by Garley. Goes down the length of the ice, and that will do it for period number 2. And much like period number 1, Legacy gets another goal to add to their insurance marker there. They lead 2-0 through the first 34 minutes of play. 2 periods down, 1 more to go. But we're headed on over to the second part of the Charbonneau Car Center intermission show when we return on the PSP Network.
This presentation on the PSP Network is proudly brought to you by social media platforms. PSP Network, it's game day.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, your trusted partner for commercial and business loans. We not only provide lending you need to grow your business, but we also reinvest in our communities. We believe in strengthening our businesses and creating opportunities for success. Choose Dakota Community Bank and Trust for your commercial and business loans, and together let's keep our communities thriving.
Serving the community, looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Planning for the future is difficult, but pre-planning your funeral is a thoughtful way to ease the burden on your loved ones. At Stevenson Funeral Home, our compassionate team will help you create a personalized plan that reflects your values. We'll make sure that your wishes are honored and that your family will have peace of mind in a challenging time. Call us today to start your pre-planning journey. You can count on us to be with you every step of the way. Stevenson Funeral Home.
When facing disaster, it's not just the things we lose, but the memories. But there's hope. ServPro, with decades of experience in Minot and Bismarck, is always ready. Our certified professionals don't just restore homes, they rebuild lives. Because to us, you're not just a client, you're family.
Every football fan has their Sunday routine. Maybe it's setting your lineup, firing up the grill, or claiming your spot on the couch. But the center of every Sunday is the drive. The morning drive home before kickoff. The drive to your buddy's watch party. Wherever you're headed, we can take you there.
At Schatz Crossroads, we make 8 gallons of homemade ranch dressing every day, so you can smother your dinner salad with it, dip those crispy golden French fries in it, and dunk your breaded chicken strips. You can even cover your... Wait, no. You can't put ranch on steak. Or can you? Schatz Crossroads. Don't forget the ranch.
At Planning Team Financial Advisors, we help individuals create their personalized strategies. We specialize in financial planning, retirement planning, insurance, and 401k distribution options. Don't leave your future to chance. Call Planning Team Financial Advisors today for a free retirement review. Planning Team Financial Advisors. Your plan, your future, your team.
The foundation of the financial planning approach at Legacy Financial Partners is a personal relationship. Our unique and collaborative approach to financial planning starts with your dreams, not just the numbers. We will work with you regularly to take action to update your plan as your needs evolve, recommending products and services that are right for your situation.
The Jersey Mike's catering box is the easiest way to feed your friends. The hard part is picking your sub. That's why we're having a draft. With the first pick, Sarah from Carolina selects number 13, the original Italian.
You know, I trusted my gut, and that's exactly where the sub's gonna go, so.
Hold on, we've got a trade. Jake traded his second pick with me, because I'm starved. Freshly sliced subs to go, wherever you and your friends go. Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, your trusted partner for commercial and business loans. We not only provide lending you need to grow your business, but we also reinvest in our communities. We believe in strengthening our businesses and creating opportunities for success. Choose Dakota Community Bank and Trust for your commercial and business loans, and together let's keep our communities thriving.
Serving the community, looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Welcome back in as we welcome you into the Charbonneau Car Center intermission show as Legacy leads 2-0 over Dickinson. 34 minutes down, 17 to decide a winner. As we welcome to the Charbonneau Car Center intermission show. Charbonneau Car Center, they know drivers in Dickinson, New England, Richardson, Belfield, Wilson, North Dakota, and Glendive, Montana. Work hard, play hard, and need a car that can keep up. That's why they choose to offer Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram lineup at their dealership in Dickinson. If you're interested in learning more, stop in their showroom and treat yourself to a test drive. Visit them online at charbonneaumotors.com. Well, since there's been a lot of chaos, let's shout out another business. Farstead Oil. Contact Farstead Oil today. Find out how their skilled sales team can help you achieve your wholesale fuel, mobile lubricants, and DEF needs. Proudly serving North Dakota, Montana, western Minnesota since 1938. Committed to outstanding customer service and reliability. Farstead Oil. Big thanks out to all of our great sponsors that have made this broadcast and all these broadcasts throughout the season possible. Well, before we jump into this one, we've got some score updates. A busy day throughout the state as Grand Forks Central defeats Grand Forks Red River. Much anticipated game there, 4-3. And then again, that was kind of your battle for the 1 seed there in the EDC, so give it to Century. But then there was the battle between the 4 and the 5 seeds, Fargo North, Devils Lake. And it went to overtime, but the Spartans of Fargo North picked up the win. Me and you actually were able to call a Fargo North game during the winter break out in West Fargo at the West Fargo Lights, and that was a fun team. Their goaltender, very fun to watch there, in Dominic Crocker.
Yeah, very fun to watch. He was the guy wearing the Santa hat, right?
Yes, he was. Yeah, Santa hat Crocker, yep.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to watch. A very animated goalie, throwing windmills everywhere, and good team.
Right now, end of 2, Century and Mandan is tied 0-0, still scoreless there. And maybe one of the teams that right now is the hottest team in WDA by some standards, potentially. Jamestown has defeated Bismarck 6-3. That Jamestown team is starting to become a little bit more scarier and scarier as the season goes on. They're getting the goaltending throughout the entire season. Now those goals are starting to tally up as well. So Jamestown could be a fun team to watch.
Yeah, Jamestown's always, as far back as I can remember, they've always been known for having just a stud, tall, farm boy goaltender. Just blue-collar goaltending and very hard to score on always.
So that's going to be the end of our look there at the score. So let's jump in here to the highlights. We'll get them running on your screen. But as we're talking about them, Austin, we got 5 minutes before we get ready for the third period. Legacy right now, they're up 2-0. They outshot Dickinson there in the second period. I believe it was 8-2 there. And overall, I mean, this was a game where shots came a little bit more at a premium there in period number 2. A lot less shots in the second period, but Legacy did a good job of tilting the ice a little bit more in that second frame.
Yeah, exactly. One thing that I noticed out of Legacy is they need to stay smart into this third period. You got to stay out of that ticky-tacky retaliation-type penalties that Dickinson tends to draw in these type of matches. You know Dickinson's going to come into these games physical, and they're probably going to say some stuff onto the ice, but as a Legacy, you got to make sure that you're avoiding that stuff. So Legacy fans, make sure that you're kind of cheering for your team to stay out of the box and stay smart going into this third period. And just don't get caught up into the Dickinson's game right now.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see it here when we get into the second period as we're finishing up on the first period highlights, but you see the physicality change. I wouldn't say there was no physicality in the first period, but there wasn't a lot. The second period, it just really built off of Dylan Gross and Isaac Jerome kind of going toe-to-toe, a little rock'em sock'em robots. And it was just one shift where those two were just going at each other, and the whole game kind of changed after that.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Dickinson definitely set the tone out earlier going into the second.
As you see right there, there's one of the big penalties there that ended up being a 5-minute major for Gross. And as you mentioned, you can't retaliate for Legacy. They retaliated there, and they got 2 minutes. Sorry to cut you off on that one.
I'm
kind
glad,
of bring your point home. And there was a goal there for Harrison Johnson on the 4-on-4.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. But for Dickinson, getting outshot by 6 goals and only putting 2 additional shots up on the board, one thing that you got to do, and it's the words of Zach Sprague, the JV superstar, the man himself, got to get pucks in deep, pucks on net, and you got to stay out of the box if you're Dickinson.
All the hockey cliches.
Yep.
But, I mean, that's kind of just the truth right now. And here's right there on your highlight. Didn't want to point that one out. Caden Cheddar scores for Dickinson, but it's called back. Coincidental penalties right before that. So that was kind of the last highlight there we had for you. But, yeah, for Dickinson, it's you got to get pucks on net, and that's one of those things right now. They had 2 shots on net in that second period. They're trailed by 2. You want to have more than that, especially when you're trying to get back 2 goals here in this third frame.
Yeah, and hey, you never know what's going to happen when you have traffic out front and you're throwing the puck on net. Could take a weird bounce, and next thing you know, after 2 shots, you could be in a tie game. So just rip them at the netminder.
Yeah, and for Dickinson, you want to get that puck in deep, but really what I've seen in that first period of that second period was that first period they used a lot more of their defensemen getting into the zone entry. That second period, it was a lot more of that dump and chase, and they just were not winning those chase attempts. Legacy was hard on pucks there in that second period. They won those races, and it just kind of maybe deflated trying to get something set up for Dickinson like they did in that first frame. So for them, I want to see them to try to get back to what they saw a lot of success with in that first period, clean zone entries. And if that has to come from your blue liners, then it does. But get that clean zone entry, have that puck, and set something up.
Yeah, you got to control the offensive zone. I think that one thing they improved on going into the second was definitely controlling the neutral zone and getting those kind of breakout regroups, if you could call them, but then just tossing them into the offensive zone. They just couldn't get control of the puck. So if you're Dickinson, you're going to want to continue to build on what you did into the second, or where you're breaking the puck out efficiently out of your own end, but then controlling that and controlling the pace of the game in the offensive zone.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where in that second period, I think you were able to see Legacy's speed. I mean, you saw it in that first period for sure, but that second period as well. And you saw that first line really start getting into that conversation with Harrison Johnson, Beckham Presley McKay, and Ben Garley. Taking a look at scoring, the first goal of the game came with 8:20 remaining in the first. It was Kyler Renz on that second line, assisted by Isaac Jerome and Cooper Schwann. And then on 4-on-4 with 12:34 remaining in period number 2, Harrison Johnson, the captain, nets one from Ben Garley and Beckham Presley McKay. And for Harrison Johnson, that's his 15th on the season. And point there, number 35 for Johnson, point 28 for Garley, and point 26 for Presley McKay, that continue to dazzle on the state stat records.
Yeah, one thing that you were mentioning, I think in the intermission, is that all of those three players might, they could tie each other, I guess, for, the points at the end of the year.
Well, if memory serves me right, they're sitting right now 1-2-4 in WDA. The player that Presley McKay is behind is on Century, who's held scoreless tonight. So it could maybe be 1-2-3 in scoring inside the region at the end of the night, depending on how this one ends. And, of course, that Century game there with Heath Frickman right now third in WDA in points. As we are off and running again, a reminder, Dickinson going to start on the power play. They got 50 seconds on the power play board here to start. As Spillman Robidoux racing, Ford and catching. Is that Garley or Rashke, on the stanchion. No, it was Garley. A dangerous area to get checked there, and glad to see Garley get up on his own will.
Yeah, you never want to see a player go down with an injury in games like this. As competitive as the WDA is, we're all still, everyone wants to go home safely and be able to compete this time of year.
And that's probably the worst spot to get caught up in a check there. Again, kind of that open area of the ice where you get caught up with that upper body going one way and the bottom of the body going the other way. But glad, hopefully, we will able to see Ben Garley back in action. The hard check there from Robidoux. As Grohl enters in there, we talked about it there in the intermission show, just seeing those blue liners in on the offensive entries, but they'll get it out. Here comes Schwann racing out as Roars. Very aggressive, plays it all the way down the ice. 3 seconds left on the man advantage, and we have got full strength hockey with 15:43 remaining. Austin, we saw in the first two periods, Dickinson came out of the gate swinging. I thought here in the third, Lacey doing a good job of just trying to quiet that attack, especially with Dickinson on the power play.
Yeah, they played aggressive on the penalty kill there, just not allowing Dickinson to enter into their own zone. But a great attempt right there in front of the net.
Miller tries to center one there, as in the area was Kyler Renz. And again, as the score would sit, he would be the one that had the game winner as he scored the opening goal tonight in the first period. Bolts gets checked in the boards. Patient with it there is Robidoux. He loses the puck, and here comes Isaac Jerome. Jerome snapshot saved by Roars as Madison tries to clean it up. But standing tall, Parker Roars, the junior goaltender. This season, a .921 save percentage, .286 goals allowed average, and he's coming off of a game where he had to come off cold off the bench against Hazen in relief. And saved all 29 shots he was faced with, helping Dickinson get back in for the win. Emmerd tames that puck down, tries to tame it into the direction of Caleb Jansen. Trying to be in that physical, he's one of those physicality players. Here comes a shot and blocked out in front. I'm thinking Emmerd maybe got a piece of that one before Roars did. Roars stops it, and referee talking over there with Harrison Johnson.
Looks like Johnson might have just got a technical. I saw the ref just tee him up right there.
Well, if that's the case, we might have a little bit of a stoppage here for a talk. So, hey, this is a perfect time. Thank you for a great sponsor, Northern Plains Heating and Air. No choice to seal your heating and air game than Northern Plains Heating and Air. Call Dylan today at 222-2155. Make sure your furnace is all up and ready here, as it is, again, I know it's we're starting to maybe feel a little bit more like spring, but it's still winter.
Oh, yeah, we still got February to get through, so definitely reach out to them and get your furnace tuned up.
So it is a 2-minute minor for Harrison Johnson. Unsportsmanlike there on Johnson. So it's another power play for Dickinson, who is 0 for 1, as could not capitalize on their last one, which they started this period with, at least the overflow of it. As shot is blocked, Miller playing the quarterback on the power play, plays it out to Grohl in the neutral. He'll work it in. Case and Grohl getting Carter Hoon on his On his heels, nice move by Grohl. Looking for a centering attempt into the skate blades of Raschke. Grohl goes down, keeping it in front of him. Gross to Miller just outside the outstretched arm, and some high effort here from Presley McKay. Presley McKay forcing some havoc here on the Dickinson side.
One thing that I'm seeing on this power play unit by Dickinson is we're just a little flat-footed. On the man advantage, you want to get those feet moving, come in with speed, and really attack that offensive zone.
Here comes Caden Cheddar. He's resulted a couple of the better chances on offense here today. He loses the puck, and Isaac Jerome, who had a fantastic first period, will bring it all the way down the ice. Put him on 5-on-5, power play, penalty kill, wherever, as Jerome will make an impact, and there he does again. Colin Bolts. Little snapshot in to the cage there of Crumwoody. Hey, go check out Primetime. It's tomorrow, 7:30 Central, 6:30 Mountain. As Bryce Gutnick, Dallas Hansen talking to our Redeemers, Brock Teets head coach, as well as their star Wyatt Weekly. They're on this week's edition of Primetime. If you missed a couple episodes, they do a wonderful job there. Break down a whole bunch of different things. Player interviews, and they even talk about top 5 duos of different sports and stuff like that inside the WDA. So full strength as Johnson is out of the box. Jansen doing a really good job of setting the edge. As Renz lays in a check, and now it's Legacy dishing out some physicality here.
And we have a delayed penalty on the Sabres again.
As Bolt swings it in, and as you talked about in the intermission show, you can't be caught up in this game if you're Legacy. You want to be playing clean the rest of the way out, but it's been some penalty issues here in the first period, as they've had to fight off what's going to be about 5.5 minutes of penalty kill here in the first 7 minutes of play when it comes down to it.
Did you see the speed of the bench to give his team the man advantage before?
I did not, but I seen him, was it earlier this period on that loose puck where he went after it, but
he's got some jets on him.
Some wheels.
Yeah, some wheels. It was fast. I don't think I've ever seen a goalie skate that fast in my life.
Not our JV superstar, not Zach Sprague. Oh, and good fun. He's our camera operator. We can joke around on that. Miller fires that one just wide of the net. Miller wrapping around. Streeter was trying to cut their back door. Maybe gets it just to flex it just wide. Robidoux. Grohl back to Robidoux. Snaps it over to Miller. Shot blocked in front by Garley. Robidoux pinches in. Grohl tried to cut back door, but could not quite pull the trigger on the pass there down low. Patience right here for the Mavericks. Grohl fires a shot, that one into the shoulder. Some friendly fire as Streeter. Gross fights it off, plays it to Grohl. Snapshot, whistles wide. Streeter hard on the puck, tries to send it. That one into the side of the net. Streeter tames it down. Dickinson pushing on this power play. They know this is one of their chances to get back in this one. It's deflected high up, and some Legacy fans love the effort of the PK unit.
Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more left to right movement on Dickinson. Getting that puck up high and then getting that goalie to move. You're getting traffic out front. They're doing a great job already moving the pucks for when you shoot the puck like that.
Taming down his Bolts, and what a big-time play there, as he had 2 Legacy Sabres right in his area that were ready to go for a fast break, as we're going to go right to left down the ice. Player Performance of the Week, there are your nominees this week. Make sure you go and join in and vote for who you think was the player performance on our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Eli Unlin out of MLS, Morgan Schneider out of Central McLean, Schumacher out of Legacy, True Blood out of Minot, and Richardson out of Minot United. And maybe we'll see one of these players be in our performance of the week for next week. A nice try on the backhand. Hustle effort. Roar's going to get out of the cage. as he sees Presley McKay, and he's going to scoot back, give it to Jansen. Sending that one behind, just an in-errant pass there to Montoya, and Presley McKay has looked really sharp here on the penalty kill. Every time they've called his number on that unit, and it has officially killed out the penalty. Full strength here for Legacy with 10 minutes remaining as it goes down the length of the ice for an icing. And Austin, we talked about it during the pregame show. Dickinson needs to make those power plays, capitalize on them, 15% on the season. But right now, what is it, 0 for 2, 0 for 3 tonight?
Yeah,
0 for 3, I think, tonight.
0 for 3,
counting
0
out
for
the
2 in just this period.
Yep. Out of the ones that they were able to get the power plays, not the ones that were coincidental. But seeing if they can just find a way. That was probably their best power play in terms of just ramping up the heat. Seeing if they can continue to do that as Miller drives hard to the net.
And they've done a great job afterwards, keeping the puck and keeping the pressure on the Sabres here.
Gross makes the entire line miss. 3 different players miss on Gross there. Shot blocked up in front by Kyler Renz. Much to the appreciation of his bench, taking one for the team. Again, Renz right now, he's credited with the game winner. Scored early on, halfway through the first period, and that is so far the test of this one. Dickinson seals the edge.
Here's where Dickinson's really going to start leaning on their seniors here. You're going to see Grohl out here putting in some long minutes, trying to help his team out and give him the edge in this competition.
Yeah, they have 5 seniors on their JV/varsity roster. And they've got, I think, 2 or 3 that are just listed or on the varsity lineup here tonight. 2 for sure. I think a third one as well. Turn and shoot there for Miller, saved by Crumwoody. You know, a very young team, too. I mean, you have really only 2 seniors that have played a majority of the games this season in Frankie Montoya and Kason Grohl, and you're going to return a whole lot coming in next year.
Yeah.
For a team that's already got the same amount of wins that they did a year ago, great signs for Chad Miller and his staff.
Exactly, yeah. You're starting to – the future's bright here in Dickinson. They got the talent here. Now it's just getting that development and working on those kind of finesse skills.
Kind of an awkward play. They're moving there at the face-off circle there as Thomas Miller, I guess that third senior that is in action tonight, was all sort of drawn up and didn't want to get called on a penalty because he kind of just stood over a Legacy player there and created some confusion, but we'll try that again. Legacy, though, will bring out a new crew instead.
One thing to note right away is Dickinson's already got 5 shots on net from where they left off at the end of the second. So they're working on getting those pucks to the net. Get a little bit more traffic out front is what I would say. And just keep firing them. Keep firing them.
8:18 remaining, so halfway done here in this one. In period number 3. Legacy looking to hold on here against a Dickinson team that has played a very gritty game to keep them in this one against the top scoring team inside WDA.
Yeah, knowing Chad Miller's coaching style for the Mavs here, he's definitely telling his players to dig in, asking them probably, how much do you want it? Do you want to win? Where do you want to end up? And really trying to test his team and get him to buy into the culture here for the Mavs that he's trying to establish.
I mean, I know we've talked about it before on other broadcasts with Dickinson, but the Iron Maverick Challenge, I mean, he brought in first year of head coaching, just something to really challenge his players during the offseason to try to earn a spot on this varsity team. And something like that, it really builds some team chemistry as well when you have to go through quite a challenging, daunting task as the Iron Maverick. I know I wouldn't have been able to do it. 2 miles, you had to average, 8 minutes a mile? 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups in the matter of 27 minutes.
Oof.
I think I might be forgetting something. If not, it might be that. But here comes Dylan Gross, hits the side of the net. Again, he's had a really good contest here for Dickinson. That down by Raschke. Extended up to Jerome. Jerome's got Renz with him. Jerome goes by the net, works to his backhand, now will pin it up. Waits for some help for Renz. Off the glass, hit by Gross. He'll block his shot up in front, and having to quickly retreat back is Carter Hoon. Schwann. Scott Jerome with him, could not corral it cleanly. Jerome hit hard from behind. Loose puck, just poked into the neutral zone. And it looks like we've got a penalty coming up, and by indication, it looks like this one is going against the Legacy Sabres, Cooper Schwann.
Yeah, another opportunity for Dickinson here. As we talked again in the pregame show, when you're given these opportunities, you got to capitalize on them. And a golden opportunity with 6 minutes and 38 seconds left to get within one, see what they can do.
Arguably, this is their best chance of to date. I mean, you score a goal here. I mean, momentum can go a long way, especially with momentum potentially already on Dickinson's side right now of having much of this period, playing much of this period a man up. It's been a very penalty-driven third period for Legacy.
Yeah, and you can feel it here, the energy in Charbonneau Arena here. A lot of fans here that came out today. So if you get one goal, you'll get the home crowd maybe a little fired up and fire up the boys on the bench to maybe want to put another one in and tie it up.
Miller retrieves that one. Robidoux, touch pass back to Miller. Senchen, one-timer to Streeter, just a swing and a miss. Grohl comes down. Centering a pass, Streeter, and he's robbed by Crumwoody.
What a
point
sequence.
Blank.
Grohl's really impressive. He's one of those, defensemen that can go play offensively, move that puck below the red line where you need it, and almost worked out for them there.
Crumwoody flashes the leather, and he'll do it once more as Robidoux sends one that butterflies through again. We're on the Serve Pro power play for the Dickinson Mavericks, 24/7 emergency service trained technicians, advanced technology, fire and water cleanup and restoration. It's Serve Pro.
Hey, real quick, credit to Crumwoody. He's played unreal with 21 shots on net, making sure that he's getting in the way of everything.
And that was probably one of his biggest, if not his biggest save of the contest, keeping this one a 2-goal game late. As Dickinson ramping up, and you're seeing more one-timer looks there. Miller just sends that one wide, quickly racing towards his Roars. And guess who it is again pressuring Roars? It's Beckham, Presley, McKay, forcing Roars to hurry up. Really liked his work on short-handed situations. Berger snaps that one. Streeter tried to climb the ladder to go and paw that one out of the air. Just comes up empty-handed. Roars quickly out of the cage. 5 minutes remaining. 23 on the power play. Dickinson whips it out to Montoya. Little half spin there by Bolts. Stepping into the play is Jansen. They're going to have to tag back up, and that is going to mean another successful penalty kill for Legacy. They are going to send it all the way down the length of the ice, and Cooper Schwann jumps out of it, shoots shot of a cannon as he comes out of the penalty box. Good work there to quickly get back in the play. Bolt snaps one. Crumwoody with another denying save there. Stenching up. 3-on-1 break. Initial save by Roars and a second save by Roars. Parker Roars trying to give the momentum here to Dickinson. Maybe that's going to wake up the Dickinson bench here, get them fired up. As Dickinson again has had a really good third period. And Roars keeping them right in the mix. As Dickinson has outshot Legacy in the first and the third periods as of now. And right now that leads to them outshooting the Legacy Sabres in this game 24-23 closely. Jerome and Robidoux exchange some pleasantries there as we continue action. Jerome comes in, a big-time hit on Grohl. Jerome's physicality has been huge here for Legacy.
Yeah, this late in the game, too, it gives you the chance to maybe draw a penalty on Dickinson. If you lay a hit like that, Dickinson's frustrated at this point. They haven't been able to get a goal yet, so credit to Jerome for keep trying to lay the body and stay physical and keep his team on top.
You know, and Legacy is maybe not one of the more physical teams that you think of when you think of physicality inside the WDA. You probably think of Century and maybe Dickinson probably towards the top end. Maybe even Williston maybe gets thrown in there as well. But Legacy saying, hey, you want to play a physical game? We can play a physical game. We're not afraid to.
There on your screen you see Roar's outstanding save and a great shot by our cameraman to catch that.
Face-off one, a little bit of a tie-up there for Dickinson. Frankie Montoya leaves it on. Nice work there by Bolts, trying to get to the forehand, and Miller tied up behind with, I think, with both Millers, Blaze and Thomas Miller. On respected teams going down the length of the ice to 2:36 remaining. Dickinson still fishing for 2 goals. We'll have to keep an eye on Roar, see if he goes anytime soon, or if they'll wait and see if Dickinson can get a goal first and then worry about pulling the goalie, but we'll just have to wait and see what Chad Miller has brewing up on the Dickinson side. As Garley cannot quite win out the race there before it crosses the red line.
The big question is, if you're Chad Miller, do you call a timeout right around now to maybe talk about that situation? Give your boys just a little bit of a rest? Oh, looks like they're doing it right now, actually.
Wow, what a call. The Tony Romo of in the booth here, calling his shot right away. Well, Austin, let's start breaking this down here. You got 2:17 remaining. You've got Crumwoody that is, when the pucks come towards him, he's been solid tonight. 24 saves, 24 shots on goal. He's been perfect. What do you got to do if you're Dickinson to try to find one? And if you find one, maybe you get a second one, but you got to get the first one to get that on your side.
Yeah, if I'm Dickinson, I'm pulling my goalie after establishing zone control, and then I'm planting one of my big guys just right in front of Crumwoody, and your job is to keep your stick on the ice, screen the goalie, and try to get a tip, and then I'm sending the house, essentially. I'm sending everyone to go crash the net, shoot the puck at the net. Nothing too fancy, but, control the zone as essentially, it, and then making sure that you're crashing the net to get those rebounds and to recover those pucks, to filter them back out to the point or wide, trying to make a move up the ice. I think in this situation, putting a man right in front of Crumwoody and then moving the goalie left to right, as I've kind of talked about, might open up some room for someone to slam that puck in behind Crumwoody. But he's played great, so it's going to be a tough test for Dickinson here. Roars is still in net, so we'll see what they can do if they can control the zone here.
Well, Austin, as you said there, Dickinson potentially needs to put all the chips in the center of the table. But here comes Cooper Schwann. He's got Jerome with him, trying to ice it, save by Roars, and he denies him again. The second line comes out with a huge, not one, but 2 chances. We're wasting no time because we don't want to miss anything on the ice. Oh, that second line, they have been fun to watch. And there is Swan. He sees Jerome. What would have been that for Jerome? The great play he's had to have been put this game on ice. But it's Parker Roars that keeps Dickinson in the mix here in the last 2 minutes, as he's done the entirety of this game. Streeter works up the puck. Roars stays comfortably in his own zone for now as they dump it in. Streeter tries to use his long wingspan to paw that one. Rylan Miller does. Roars still in the cage comfortably with 135. He's just hunched over right now, waiting for his time. He starts inching forward. Does he get the call? Miller gives him the wave. Roars off to the bench. Here comes Caleb Jansen flashing down the ice. Gross shot. Jansen trying to jam it in. And another save from Crumwoody.
And it looks like maybe a penalty here for some after-the-whistle activities. There was quite a bit of pushing and shoving I saw in front of the net, but this one looks like it's going to be on Dickinson, number 20 there.
And it's going to be on Caleb Jansen, the extra attacker. When you talked about the having a big body up in front, I was like, hey, maybe you see Caleb Jansen, and he wasn't in on the initial. When they did bring him in, they brought him in the extra attacker. He was going like you talked about, trying to be that big body in front, maybe just a little too aggressive. But, hey, you have 2 minutes left trying to get 2 goals. Sometimes you got to be aggressive, and you saw it there.
Yeah, and Dickinson still has a chance here, I'll say. You can dump it in on the other side since there's no icing calls. And as soon as you do that, if I'm Chad, I might consider pulling Roars again. I'm just trying to go man-to-man and seeing if you can make something happen.
$1:18 remaining. As Dickinson has been toe-to-toe all night long with one of the best teams in the WDA. Here's a snapshot there from Miller. But Legacy has led almost the entirety of this one. 2-0. Little backhand opportunity for Jerome. That one blocked aside by Roars. As you mentioned, since they've got one in the penalty box, no icing the rest of the way with 45 seconds. But for Legacy, it's just all about chipping that time away. McKay fires in, pushing the corner by Roars. 33 seconds. Raschke plays it down low. Off the nice little touch there from Johnson to Garley, but could not quite slow that puck down. Johnson finding down to Jerome with 22 seconds. They have tilted the ice here on Dickinson. As Raschke peeking over his shoulder, 13 seconds remaining. Colin Bolts has a man with them, trying to bolt down the ice, fires that one just wide. And as time will expire, Legacy will hold on in a gritty performance here for these two teams. It was a fun one. Legacy comes away with the win 2-0 as shots were almost as even as you could get. Legacy win the shot battle 27-26. We're going to talk about this one, wrap things up here from the West River Ice Center in Dickinson when we return for the Charbonneau Car Center post-game show.
This presentation on the PSP Network is proudly brought to you by social media platforms. PSP Network, it's game day.
When facing disaster, it's not just the things we lose, but the memories. But there's hope. ServPro, with decades of experience in Minot and Bismarck, is always ready. Our certified professionals don't just restore homes, they rebuild lives. Because to us, you're not just a client, you're family.
Our stylists are trained to understand the nuances of cutting men's hair. Less pomp, more adore, huh, Brittany?
Square face, wavy hair.
Mid-fade with a textured top. Finish it off with a hard part and taper that neckline, coach.
Cowlick, what's the move? It's not just all about hard work here.
Hit all. 7. Pressure. Points. Yeah.
It takes expertise to be a sport clip stylist.
Here?
That's the spot. Right there, huh? Sport Clips, the pros in men's hair.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through New Edge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. New Edge Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Planning for the future is difficult, but pre-planning your funeral is a thoughtful way to ease the burden on your loved ones. At Stevenson Funeral Home, our compassionate team will help you create a personalized plan that reflects your values. We'll make sure that your wishes are honored and that your family will have peace of mind in a challenging time. Call us today to start your pre-planning journey. You can count on us to be with you every step of the way. Stevenson Funeral Home.
Welcome to the Charbonneau Car Center post-game show. Legacy victorious over Dickinson in a close one. 2-0 as we enter into the Charbonneau Car Center post-game show. I'm Brock White, joined alongside me, Austin Rotz.
Hey, and say hi to Titus. He's goalie for the Minis here in Dickinson. Say hi, Titus.
The next generation there of the Dickinson Mavericks. Hey, it's fun to see all the kids come in and go to these games, and it's always fun to watch for sure. It was a fun matchup here tonight, and let's go in and jump in to the game highlights. A lot to talk about, Austin, as we wrap things up here at the West River Ice Center. Early on, that first period, I thought Dickinson did a really good job of tilting that ice in their favor. That first period was as even as it could get. I mean, both teams had some good opportunities back and forth. But at the end of the day, it was a goal there by Kyler Renz. That was the lone goal in the first period, halfway through it, assisted by Isaac Jerome and Cooper Swan. And that put him up 1-0. And for a long time, that was that goal that kind of stood there as lonesome on the board until we got into the second period. But overall, that first period, very competitive between these two teams. Thought Dickinson played really well in that first. But towards the end of that first period, you saw Legacy make those adjustments. They were kind of held in check in that first half of that first period, but that second half they came up and they were back into that Legacy offense that you know.
Exactly. I think Legacy played very disciplined that first period. Well, both teams did, but Legacy playing disciplined. Dickinson came out flying, as you said, but just couldn't put anything behind the netminder, and just really seemed to kind of struggle on that offense, struggle establishing themselves. Not that they played bad, but they just couldn't get lucky, I guess you could say. Ultimately, that led into the second, where we saw Dickinson came out again. They started the second off really well, and then I believe that we saw a completely different game. It looked like two different teams on the ice going into the second period. Very physical game, very aggressive.
Yeah, I think this is right here of where it all ramped up. As a big shot there, both teams got some penalties. It was maybe 30 seconds before that highlight that really started ramping up the pressure. That was just the one that really just ended up being kind of the highlight of it. And went to 4-on-4, and for Legacy, it ends up in a goal. Harrison Johnson netting what is now his 15th goal of the season, assisted by Garley and Beckham Presley McKay. But there you see some nice saves there by Parker Roars that was able to keep Dickinson in this contest and keep it a 2-goal game. He made some spectacular ones, and there you see two back-to-back, some really good breakaway chances that he was able to deny as Legacy was able to ramp up that pressure in the second period, where they were able to really outshoot Dickinson. I think it was 8-2 in the second period. There you saw a goal for Dickinson. No, you didn't. It gets waved off. Coincidental penalties right before Caden Cheddar puts one in the back of the net, so the score remained 2-0 heading into the third period. And in that third period, Legacy had some penalty trouble, had sent quite a few players to the box, but Dickinson was not able to capitalize on the power play And that's what it ended up being. 2-0 Legacy picking up the win. Their 11th on their season, 9th regulation win on the year.
Yeah, great matchup all around. Both teams laid it on the line, and Legacy, whether you like it or not, if you're a Dickinson fan, they just got lucky a little bit, got the right bounces when it needed, and were able to put those pucks in at critical times, and then we're able to shut down the Dickinson offense, not allowing them to sneak anything in there. I think the second period was probably the most critical for Legacy. If Dickinson would have got one goal, who knows how it would have ended up in the third, but it gives that opportunity, to, kind of come back. And a great shutout for, Crumwitty as well.
Yeah, and for Crumwitty, I think this was one of those games where this is a team that really has, it's been offense all season long, and they've averaged 6 goals a game. And you look at their last games, 12 goals, 4 goals, 6 goals, 10 goals. They've, coming into the night, 2 of their last 4 games, they scored 10 or more goals in a game. And this is a team that was really able to kind of allow Crumwitty to start the season kind of get more comfortable as that starter, as he didn't have too much varsity experience to start, losing Otto to graduation, so kind of get him more comfortable. But now, tonight, I think it really shows that Legacy is a team. Yes, they can ramp up that score. They can have that 6-5 gunslinging shootout, but they can win a low-scoring physical game, and they showed that tonight. Crumwitty played fantastic. A Sabres team that maybe you don't see a ton of physicality night in and night out, but you saw this team not afraid to push back when Dickinson wanted to be physical. And I thought that penalty kill unit is potentially, what is going to be our move of the game. There's not an actual move of the game, but it is that penalty kill. I think they killed 3 or 4 penalties in that final period. Crumwitty, a big reason of it, but you look at some of those penalty killers. Isaac Jerome, you look at Beckham, Presley, McKay. I think those two really stand out of just going right towards Dickinson, not caring that they're a man down, playing aggressive, and killing some valuable power play time for the Mavs.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Legacy, as we can see, kind of going into the later part of the season, they're comfortable playing on their back end, playing with their heels turned down ice. And they're still able to get the job done when they need to. Feeling comfortable in your own end, playing defensively, not panicking is a real hallmark of a good team at this point of the season.
Well, before we wrap this one up, let's give a little shout-out to our Sports Clips MVP here on the PSP Network. And tonight, you got a lot of great options, but we're going to give it out to Isaac Jerome tonight. The senior had a fantastic first period, and he just set the tone. He set the tone for this Legacy team. Just was aggressive the entire game, was good on the power play, good on the penalty kill, wherever you needed him. He ends up getting assist on that game-winning goal by Kyle Lorenz. And overall, when number 10 was on the ice, you knew he was on the ice. And a big part of, again, as we mentioned, that PK unit that was between him and Beckham, Presley, McKay, that were kind of circled out as the ones to be really aggressive, did a fantastic job of keeping them in the win column tonight.
Yeah, definitely well deserved by Isaac Jerome. He just was an animal everywhere on a tear. He did draw a couple penalties, but a lot of those were coincidental, the ones that he was involved in. So they didn't really negate and hurt his team that bad. So definitely well deserved by him. He's a hard-nosed hockey player. Not afraid of the corners, not afraid to get physical, and really helped his team out. There wasn't really too many other people on this team that you could see them as a physical presence out there for Legacy. You saw number 10 on the ice, you felt number 10 on the ice, just everywhere, and a great teammate to have.
Well, for the Sabres, they mark it in for their 9th winning streak, a 9-game winning streak for the Sabres, but they've got a quite tough task this week, because it's a busy week for them. They play tonight here on Tuesday, get a nice little break off on Wednesday, and they're back in action Thursday and Friday. They have got a road trip out at Minot on Thursday, and then they've got Jamestown on Friday. So you kind of got Minot, the team that you're just behind in the standings, and then you got Jamestown, who right now is kind of acting as potential the dark horses in WDA. So not an easy feat there. And for Dickinson, they got some extended little bit of a break. They don't play till next Tuesday, and guess who they play next Tuesday? This Legacy Sabres team, but they play them in the capital city. So this matchup, it was exciting. It's going to happen again in 7 days. So these teams were already physical enough. A week, I don't think, is going to let things simmer down any for sure. So it should be a very fun matchup there as well in the capital city. But that's going to about do it for us here. Before we sign off, let's take a look at our PSP schedule for the week. On Thursday, we got some hoops for you. Stanley versus Nedrose, Central McLean versus Glen Olin Hebron, as well as some boys hockey. Hey, we got the Legacy Sabres right here on Thursday as well out in Minot. So tune in for that. I believe Nick Holberg will be on the call for that. And then plenty of Double-A hoops coming your way on Friday. St. Mary's versus Dickinson, Minot High versus Century, Mandan versus Legacy, and then Glenburn versus Surrey in a fun Class B matchup as well. If you're a Dickinson basketball fan, they picked up the win in the boys game against Minot, so pick up another win in WDA. Girls, Minot picked up the win in that one, so they ended up splitting that doubleheader. But until then, until Thursday, make sure you tune back in. Lots of great action. Again, Legacy Minot on your way here on Thursday on the PSP Network, as well as a lot of great basketball action still to come this week. For Austin Rotz, for our camera operator, Zach Sprague, I'm Brock Widener. Have yourself a great rest of your night.
This presentation on the PSP Network is proudly brought to you by PSP Network on all social media platforms. PSP Network, it's game day.